minutes ago, but we're here now. Let's send it on over to We Got Joe, We Got Sharif, and we got Midday Madness. Not anymore.
How to trade. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to the midday show.
Look at the glutes there.
They want to show that off, you can tell.
Look at the glutes on that.
My man pumped about the glutes. I like it. Welcome, everybody, to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to weasel on over from the other stream. We already have a couple of OGs, early birds in the chat. There we go. We've got Adam DeLuce. We got Scott H., Corey S., Mateus Lane, Pitchbull, Lexter. We got the world's greatest mod. We got Trader Forever and Juan Padilla, as well as Kalua and Havana Woody, Vicky Novak, Andrew Chow, Cash Money. We got Julie Beckwith, BGZ and Cairo, Hamlet and Andrew Chow joining us as well. We got Callum, Mitchell, Miller, and Seawave. We got Daba Doo. Okay, all right, Scooby-Doo there. Blue Baron, Mary S. Lyman, and Jacoby Waters. Just Brad V. Spark Shop as well. What are you selling over there, bro? Sagar Patel and Bitcoin Trader, 100 miles an hour, joining us. Elon, shout out to Elon and 2 New York Cents. Forex AU, Oliver Casteros. We got Fugazi Bear, Nick Dubb. We even have Joe in the chat. Shout out to Blue Arrow as well. And Hey Davis, Eric, and last, but certainly not least, Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. What's going on, Joseph?
Are you ready for Christmas? I'm not ready at all. I should probably get some. No.
I haven't bought anything.
No, you know what? I'm done. I used to be that last minute guy.
Whole different bag of chips.
Yeah. I'm starting to lean towards the gift card thing because everything I buy is either too small or too big. So and she just ends up returning it anyways and getting something and getting So it's like, all right, here's some money and go get you one.
How's everything before we start? Everything's good?
Everything's good, brother.
Fantastic.
How about you?
Yeah, not bad. Look, man, let's just show them the small cap gappers we got in because you got a sick lesson for today. My man's talking about straddles and strangles, so we're going to just flip roles for a quick sec. Here are the small cap gappers I'm looking at. I'm going to throw sound on there super quick to basically because it's a good look. We're going to take off Surge and we're going to put on sound. Thank you for that, Neil. We'll keep tabs on that one. But this is what I'm looking at right now. BDRX caught in a 2-minute halt at the highs. I spotted this one when my alarm went off at 5:50, like 5:50 the price level, not 5:50 a.m. The reason is because that was the pre-market high at 7:45. If you see me trade small cap gappers, I won't trade them until they take the pre-market high, and that's what it did there. Took it out at 10:50. 2 halts. First one, 5 minutes. Second one, 10 minutes. Right now, we're still in the midst of it. So I'm keeping my eye on BDRX. Simultaneously, I'm long QUBT. We're break even on it right now. I don't like the topping tail candle that's forming right now, but I'm looking for a V-shaped recovery, possibly into 5. A stop for me is going to come below that 60 penny level. It's going to continue to make higher highs and higher lows. Last but not least, Joseph, NNE, very, very, very directional. Good move up here, 20% in the clear. I'm going to keep my eyes on those 3, but we'll talk about more when we get back from the lesson.
All right, let's go, guys. Before we hop into the lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about the sectors here. Again, it seems like a little bit of some sector rotation going on in the overall market because we do know that tech was selling in the opening drives, I guess, and through the first half of the session. So in first place, win place show, we have energy up a whopping 1.4%. Industrial sitting in second place at 1.3%. And then the show goes to the financials at 1.13. And then going from bottom to third last, we have the communication sector. Ran by Google, right? Led by Google to the downside, guys. So that one's red on the session. And then in second last, we have the consumer discretionaries and then health in third last. So guys, let's dive right into the lesson here. We're going to be talking about some straddles and strangles. I think it's going to be a good one, especially since we had NVDA reporting last night as well too. So, and now you can have the ability to prepare for possibly next earnings season when you really want to implement this strategy. You can do your back testing and have everything ready for that. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. Straddles and strangles. This is just what we're going to be going over today. Nothing over complex. So straddles, strangles, expected moves, and open interest. All right, so a little, when you get to the expected moves in OI, then it maybe gets a little bit more complex. But as of anything else, seems pretty straightforward. Straddles are pretty straightforward, and so are strangles. So let's get right into it. All right, guys? So straddles can be classified as an intermediate level option strategy. strategy, best utilized when large increases in IV are expected, including large expected moves. The best time to utilize this strategy, in my opinion, and from the data set from the samples that I've collected, is during earnings announcements, all right? So just be wary. When you go to create this strategy, you can't open contracts in the post-market, so you do have to set up this strategy before the market closes, all right? So consists of 2 options contracts with the same strike and expiration date, Stock XYZ is trading at $50. You buy 1 at the money call and you buy 1 at the money put. Very, very simple. Trade is most profitable when a significant move is made in either direction or a large increase in implied volatility. Max potential loss is total debit paid for both contracts. And you'll see here shortly when we construct it, also have a max unlimited profit potential just due to the long side, all right? So, guys, this is just basically it. I chose NVDA because it did report yesterday, and I think it was the best option, so we can dive into what this metric, what this kind of trade looks like going into it. So, as you can see here, guys, it's a little bit high. All right. So, guys, I mean, you can see from an IV standpoint, it is a little high. So going into the earnings report, when I constructed this for you guys, you can see that the IV is increased. So therefore, you're going to be paying a little bit more in premiums, okay? So keep in mind, this is as simple as it gets. This is an at-the-money straddle. So essentially a delta neutral strategy that is also kind of not a market neutral strategy, but again, it favors in one direction. You need a large expected move in one direction in order for this strategy to profit. All right, guys? So as you can see here is that the max paid here, the max loss is the total debit paid. So if you just add these 2 debits together, the cost on each ask, that's going to be your max loss as well too. But then the max return is also unlimited to the top side just because of the calls. All right, guys? So keep that in mind. And then again, delta is, it's not necessarily neutral, but close to. And then you see the theta on this one. So guys, and you can see the profit, you can see the profit potential on here on how a options graph is constructed. So you can see if you stay within this range, within the $143 range, and the expected move isn't surpassed, as you will notice that it didn't with the NVIDIA earnings, is that this is when you become more profitable because you need this trade to outweigh the total debit paid and the implied volatility with the increase in order to become profitable. So you need to exceed that expected move in order to become profitable on this trade. All right, guys? Okay, guys, now moving on to strangles. Yeah.
Can we just say one quick thing? The stream seems to be lagging for some people. It seems to get a lot better if you just refresh the stream and just come back in. So just do that because it's sound issues for certain people, not for others. So just refresh the stream. It's not interrupt.
Yeah, no, not at all. So, okay, yeah, guys, so refresh the screen. I'll talk a little bit, give people a couple of seconds, and then we'll get back into it. So, guys, just with the straddle, and we'll talk a little bit about strangles, but with straddles, just be wary of when you're looking to implement this. You are buying these premiums going into the earnings announcement at a heightened cost, all right? So it's going to cost you a little bit more, and you need the asset, the underlying asset, to move drastically higher than the expected move, which we'll talk about in order to become profitable on this trade. And if it doesn't, we'll talk more about that. You'll see what happens with that, all right? So a couple seconds, hopefully you guys refreshed and are going. So let's get on to strangles, all right? So strangle is an option strategy that consists of buying out the money calls and puts in the same expiration cycle, all right? Stock XYZ is trading at $50. You buy the 55 call and you buy the 45 put. Very, very simple, all right? So the strangle also requires a significant move in stock price or implied volatility in order to be profitable, okay? So due to the large profit potential, the strategy does have a lower probability of profit. So you'll see when you construct this strategy, the pop is definitely lower opposed to doing something like a credit spread trade where you can select the probability of profit by using your deltas. This is significantly less because of the significant moves it does require, all right? So, guys, I like the straddle. The max loss is the total debit paid for the long call and the long put, all right? So that's the max you can lose on this trade. But again, I would highly suggest implementing a stop loss as well, too. All right, so you can create a more directional bias strangle by offsetting the deltas on the long calls and puts. And I'll show you this in this example here, guys. So essentially here, what you're gonna see from a delta standpoint, and it's kind of cut off here, but we're almost delta neutral on this strategy, not off by much. So this is about a 0.3 delta, and when I selected it, this was about a 0.2 delta, so you are delta neutral on that front, so keep that in mind. And this is how the strangle is constructed. Slightly more directionally biased, so you need a larger move than the strangle in order to become profitable in this trade, all right, guys? So as you can see here, the probability of profit only sitting around 41%, and the max loss is the total debit paid. You add these two together, and then that's your max loss. And again, the max return also equates to the profit potential to the call side, all right? So a stock can only go to zero, but again, if you have that call and the call exceeds expected moves, and just goes to infinity, that's where you can become extremely profitable on that front, okay, guys? So these are some prime examples of when you want to implement the straddle and strangle strategies. As you can see, we're starting to get to those aftermarket hours, and this is the moves that you want to see, okay? So you're gonna have to open these trades in these positions before the market opens, okay? I mean closes. So this is what you want to see. You're gonna put in your order just before the market closes. You're gonna play your strangle or your straddle, and the same thing with AMD. This is what you want to see here. All right. So I don't have, because it's previous data. I don't remember if they exceeded the expected move, but it's looking like Tesla was pretty close to doing so, and maybe same with AMD. All right. So keep that in mind, guys. So you have that, and then you have a PLTR, which absolutely exceeded its expected move from here. This is what you want to see when you are creating these trades. Again, this one's a little bit iffy on Meta. You don't know if you're going to become profitable or if the implied volatility is going to be enough to increase your profits on this trade, all right? So keep that in mind. If it doesn't exceed the expected move, then you're hoping that IV onslaught is going to help you become somewhat profitable. But other than that, after these big moves are made, just be prepared to close your position in the pre-market or when the market opens, because the IV is going to start to slowly cool off. So again, that's the key metric about straddles and strangles, is you need that big move, and you need it to happen quick and fierce, because in the coming days, the implied volatility is going to dwindle, and therefore it's going to decrease the premiums of your options, all right, guys? And this is something that you don't want to see, all right? So when you create a straddle or a strangle, this is what you don't want to see, and this was NVIDIA's report yesterday, okay? So keep that in mind. It did not exceed the expected move. Sharif and I were talking about this, roughly around 8.5%-ish, and it did not whatsoever, not even close. So if you did construct one of these trades or the strategy on this trade, then the chances are you're just holding on to a bag now, or you just have to accept your losses and cut the position when the market opens. All right, guys? So these are the type of moves that you want to be looking out for. We'll get back to some expected moves and open interest right after we get back from Sharif and see what's going on with the markets.
All right. I'm in a couple of positions right now. QUBT, this one had a nice V-shaped retracement, trying to take this bad boy with higher highs and higher lows back into that $5 high a day. Already just taken one out, but you know, it's in a consolidative state right now, zigging and zagging. Seems like it's a 5-penny range between 75 and 80. So we'll see if this one wants to break out. I mean, the trend is sound in the sense that it's putting in higher. There we go. Now we're taking out all my orders. Okay, great, good. So let's see if we can take out that 90 order there. Good move up, as this one did have buying, but I felt like there was a hidden seller at 80s for a hot minute. That seller looks to have been taken out. Let's see if the seller at 90 is going to be as big as the seller at 80s. A lot of chop and churn right now on QUBT. It's a second day play. Not second day. I don't know, third or fourth day. This is quantum computing. We saw towards the end of last week, early this week, quantum computing in vogue right now. Don't know why, don't care. Just going to keep trading them until they tell me not to. So we're looking for the next little out there at 90s. We've been knocking on the door. 89s now showing up on the ask with a decent spread of 1 penny. Here comes 90s now on the ask with about, let's say, a little over 1,000 lots hanging out at that 90 penny area. Here we are with 90s. Now we're going to have to cross big selling coming in here, but also big buying. Look at all the green coming in on my level 2. Boom, we take them out, not 20 pennies in the money here. On Qubit, quantum computing, guys, keep your eye out on this one, 34% in the clear. This one, not doing so good, though. Let's flip to this one. Got stopped out of SMST. Tried to take this bad boy with umpteen amount of bottoming tail candles. It looked awfully good for me anyway, that there were buyers in and around here. Maybe I got pushed out of this too quickly because I should have been gauging my stop with this area low. That's not where I put it in. So I might weasel my way back into this if it is warranted. So what I meant by bottoming tail candles were these 3 right here. And it kind of had a rounding effect. So I said to myself, look, the bottoming tail candles by definition means that buyers are quite exuberant in buying them because every time it dips down, it's being aggressively bought. It's even more so when the subsequent candle has a higher wick area than the previous one, because now the sellers aren't even able to push it down as much. So that's what I was seeing there. It looked like as if maybe I had my stop placement all wrong, trying to gauge the $5 as support rather than using the area low at around 480. So I'll look to reignite the position there if it's warranted. But Qubit is absolutely flying, and I'm not taking any profits here. So here we go. Bang! Look at that, bro. 515, beautiful flat top break through that $5 area on QUBT. Almost, whoa, we were almost 50 pennies in the money here on a $4 name, so not a bad look. Let this bad boy run. QUBT up 40%. Here are the details on it, by the way. It's a $608 million market cap, having traded on the day 78 million shares. That's a good look. What else we got over here? 65 million share float with the short float, I'll tell you in a hot second, 6%, so not different than when we saw last time. So how many outs do I have left on this, by the way? I got 3 more outs. Okay, so we're going to pack our patience on this bad boy over here. Let's set up another out, guys, at the 24. You can show the screen. That 24 penny area. So we'll look to wet our beak at around that $0.25, but I'm going to front run it. Back to SMST. I think I traded this one poorly because it's another higher low. So higher low, higher low, higher low. Stop placement was garbage. We're going to try this one again. So we're going to give this one the old community college try, and then we're going to put our stop at the appropriate area, which is the dang area low, not where I want it to be. So there we go. Let's layer our outs now on this in case it really gets going here so we can account for any PAMP on this name. Separately, NNE continues to go. This one's up 24%. It is at the highs, knocking on the door of that $29 area, and more respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. It could not be. Look at this. From 9:40 a.m., we don't even have a breach of the 10 wick close or otherwise. I don't think there is an otherwise. It's either a wick or a close. So beautiful look here on NNE. Haven't been able to weasel into this one, but I'm awfully interested in weaseling at that $28 area. Why? Because that's where the 10 exponential moving average is. And if history is any guide, recent history that is, that 10 exponential is going to hold up. I don't even know if this has a headline, nor am I even going to look. So 28.08, beautiful look right now on NNE. It's about how I work my way into this position, Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff there, Sharif. You also have a $5 super chat.
Oh,
thank you, JJJ. Been watching for a while. Love the show. Can you take a look at Tesla and any good levels for a long idea? Thanks.
Absolutely. Let's weasel on over here to the Mag 7, which I didn't even look at quite yet. Here we go. Let's look at Tesla. Down a third. And we've been knocking on the door flat. Flat is 342. In fact, we're doing that flip resistance to support dance that I think technicians love because it's predictable. Here's what I'm talking about. So the closing print yesterday on Tesla around 342, and then look at this. Ever since the volatility of the open subsided, we kind of used that 342 at least for a period of 20 minutes as support. Funny enough, when we gave up the ghost at 1025, look what we're doing with that 342, using it as resistance. In addition to the fact that 342 is the closing price, it also happens to be the volume weighted average price. So you always like when those two things conflate, or confluences, as OB likes to say. So 342, I would say, is an important area today, not just because it's the closing print, but because it's been respected intraday here as both support and resistance. So that's my look on Tesla, brother.
Yeah, good luck there. Nick W, I got you, my guy. Where did that go? That is not good. Hold on. Here we go. So yeah, Nick. Options, large options call. massive gap up here on this thing. Congratulations. I don't know if you want to lock in any profit here, but as you can see, you broke some prior resistance. You had this pivot here, boom, just blew absolutely through it. The volume is sustaining and supporting this move to the top side. So yeah, you got the nod from me on DataDog. Look to lock in some profits here because we are starting to get isolated or island pivot, whatever you would like. I'm not saying that it won't continue to move to the northeast, but just keep in mind you are slightly extended up here. So if you have multiple contracts, look to put some money in your pocket, my friend. But other than that, fantastic trade there, Nick Dub. So good luck. But we are off to Adara.
We're going to take a look here at some of the larger movers to the upside and downside, as we always do around 11:20 here on this sector board. But a couple of housekeeping things first. We do have VFS here, VinFast, getting a bit of a volume spike just now there in the 15-minute chart. Nikkei reporting that Vingroup, so the parent company of VinFast, apparently looking to start a company focusing on AI and the company building its own robots. So robotics company from VFS parent Vingroup on watch. Also, if there's any tickers that you're looking at today that you're wondering what the thoughts would be here from Neil and Sean, maybe what the catalyst was, we do have a poll now in the chat, so the top 4 tickers are available for voting. I know GOOGL and MSTR are both in there, so make sure you get your votes in before 12:30 for the top 4 tickers. Then it'll get a little bit narrower from there on in, so make sure you vote for those tickers of choice. I always like to have a theme for this segment here for the larger S&P 500 movers. So today what I wanted to do was look at some moves to the upside on names that actually haven't reported earnings yet this cycle. So we'll start here with CrowdStrike. CRWD set to report earnings next Tuesday after the bell. Cantor Fitzgerald here maintaining an overweight rating ahead of that report and raising its price target on the stock from $350 to $370. Next up here we have CRM. This name here up about 4%. They're set to report their earnings on December 3rd here, and they're getting a price target increase from Oppenheimer, $330 to $385. Last but not least, KMX. CarMax here up about 5%. Not seeing any catalyst for them. I'm seeing an earnings estimate of around December 15th, so potential mid-December report for CarMax, which has 10% short float, guys. Again, make sure to vote for your ticker of choice in that poll in our chat, which you have to be a member. So make sure you have to be a subscriber. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, guys.
I just want to know what Adara voted for. She's MSTR. She voted for MSTR. It's pretty simple. She was giving us levels on it before we started the show. In case you don't know, there's a bit of a ritual that happens here on this side of the desk. Adara's desk is right behind us. She comes back. We ask her what she's looking at. She gives us levels. We discuss. And then, we move on there, and then we go smash it.
Yeah, and then we just watch all the levels that she mentioned get hit and concept money. So, yeah, good luck there from Adara. Yeah, guys, I'm looking over here at IBIT. We're going to see if we can recover today. We're still positive on the session. I do think that Bitcoin sometime in the near future is going to hit that 100K mark that everybody has in the back of their mind. But just keep in mind, just from a technical standpoint, this thing does look awfully extended, all right, guys? So I'm going to continue to try to milk this this trade until otherwise. But again, we'll take a look at BTC from a daily standpoint because it is getting up there and it is slightly toppy. So we'll take a look at that right now, guys, because I want to point this out. And once that 100K potential price target comes up, then you can see some ferocious selling, all right? So keep that in mind. And we're getting there. We're not too far off of it. So just keep that in mind. I think once we do tap 100K or get close, we can see somewhat of a pullback because this is an absolute ferocious move, up about, I think, 32% from this 74K break. So that is a hectic move. Expect the stock or this underlying asset to continue to move, but again, it's going to breathe. I do think people have some pretty high price targets on this thing, but we can't just go parabolic all the time, all right? So just keep that in mind. Expect for these levels to be hit or close to, and then somewhat of a pullback. I don't know if we're going to go back and test 74K again, but again, if you see mid-80s to low 80s, then that's totally healthy as well too, all right, guys? So just keep that in mind. But until then, you notice that I'm trading IBIT a lot. Well, it's strong. Right, and I want to trade these strong assets, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to stick to IBIT for the foreseeable future until it starts telling me that's a short. And one thing about NVDA, the earnings report was absolutely fantastic. Blackwell they're going to start shipping Blackwell next Q4, I think, in 25, right? So keep that in mind. But again, the demand for them is through the roof. There's backlogs on orders for this thing, so keep that in mind as well too. The report was fantastic. But again, that growth rate is so hard to sustain that, again, you'll start to see this thing kind of, even though these reports are fantastic, you'll see it start to pull back kind of as it is right now. But every analyst and their extended family had a higher price, price. No, but seriously. Yes. No, but like you see it, it's like, dude, it's like it's like $170, $190, $160, right? So just keep that in mind that if everybody is predicting a potential price in it, then expect it to eventually at some point go in and reach those levels. I'm looking to allocate some myself. Sharif, we know what's going on with Google, right? So I have a nice position in Google, my second largest holding. I'm thinking about maybe potentially locking in some profits and then allocating some more or some NVDA.
Yeah, I got stuff to chime in on that. You and I always have discussions about that. We're going to throw it to Adair for a quick second.
Absolutely.
We have a couple of things to talk about here news-wise. I have CMA up on the screen here. Look at that volume spike to the downside. Then that pop back up, but slightly less volume on the pop-up. Comerica right now here, CMA down about 1%. Apparently now Bank of New York, so BK is the ticker for Bank of New York, apparently now set to manage the U.S. Department of Treasury's prepaid debit card program. Comerica used to manage this program, so BK usurping CMA here when it comes to managing the Department of Treasury's prepaid debit card program, sending CMA to the downside, at least initially. So keep an eye on CMA and BK with regards to this prepaid debit card program switch up coming through the Department of Treasury. Also, Amazon on watch here. Reuters reporting that the company is likely to face an EU investigation under its Digital Markets Act in 2024. So within the end of this year, apparently antitrust regulators have been building a case. This decision and timing of the probe is going to be made by the new incoming EU antitrust chief. So again, potential EU antitrust case for AMZN and some bank news here for CMA and BK. Lots of intraday news, guys.
Ready? Donald John Trump, during his first presidency anyway, emphasized that a strong America must not depend on foreign adversaries for critical minerals essential to our nation's economic and military strength in the 21st century. So aligning with this vision, military metals is emerging as a global powerhouse in the antimony, I don't know how to say this, antimony space, crucial for defense and military applications. With past producing assets in the US, Canada, and Europe, military metals is poised to secure these vital resources domestically. So don't wait too long. This story is certainly heating up fast. Thank you to... I want to know, am I saying it right? Antimony, I have no idea, Joseph. We're gonna have
I think that's Adaira's.
I think that we need to put to Adaira, but I think she would have told me if right away. But in any event, Joseph, you and I were talking about Google. Okay, so one thing that you and I were talking about last time is the very few areas where the Dems and the Republicans seem to agree on. One of them we agreed on is China. And then the other one seems to be a little bit of disdain for big tech and wanting to rein in their influence. They seem to agree on that. So you could make the argument, we got a new incoming DOJ, Department of Justice, Federal Trade Commission coming in, possibly with Lena Khan leaving, Merrick Garland leaving. Trump's going to assign his own people. Obviously, he's selected Gates for the AG position. However, do they differ in their stance on taking on big tech? So just because they're bringing in a new administration, are they going to do something different with Google? That's the thing. That's my question, and it's kind of like I'm asking kind of an open-ended question. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the chat, too, about this. But, yeah, I don't think...
I mean, what we were talking about earlier, just from a standpoint, is like, okay, you have to essentially... forfeit Chrome for like 5 years, and then almost like you're on probation for something for 10 years is absolutely insane. They're obviously going to file for more and probably get less. But again, in my opinion, why would you want to do that to one of your largest companies that help you dominate search, not only from an iPhone standpoint? So again, why are you going to deplete such an amazing company, even though, yeah, you can classify it as a monopoly, but again, if it has the ability to dominate and as the iPhone's pretty much primary search engine, then why would you want to do that? Because that keeps you pretty much in #1 for an extended period of time, right? So it's like, okay, why would you want to hurt yourself like that? But again, it's a case. Maybe they have to do it. In my opinion, it is a lot of noise, but it may happen, and we don't know. But I don't think they're going to succeed, in my opinion. Not saying that.
No, I personally, like what I was telling you off camera was some of the legal scholars were chiming in, obviously, about this, and they're like saying, if we're to look at a historical precedent, most likely outcome is that they get banned or prevented from making these deals, like with the likes of Apple throwing them 20 billion, 30 billion a year for that default search. So, I mean, obviously that hurts a bit, but it's not nearly as bad as having to divest one of your best products. What's it called? Chrome is crucial for the data they collect on you for targeting ads, right? Like without that data coming in through Chrome, seeing what you're looking at.
So how does that also with that data coming in? How is that going to affect you in the AI race, right? The more data that you have, like Google has the most data out of pretty much any company, right? Of these mega techs, right? So you have all these things. You have the search engine that everybody's been using for years and years and years, and then you have Google Maps. So you got Waymo going on. So why would you want to hinder that and then possibly give that data to your competitors, right? So keep that in mind. But even so, if it's not going to be your default search engine, then you chances are you're still going to have the choice, right? So, and a lot of people might just be like, hey, I'm used to using Google. I don't like change, so I'm just going to stick to it, right?
Well said.
So keep that in mind too. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's Google down and taking a beating today. Some people in the chat are mentioning INTC. Let's take a look at INTC for you guys. Let us know in the chat what you guys are looking at. So yeah, I got to, Joe, as a small business owner, why it's a problem when a huge corporation controls the entire market? Less competition equals less innovation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
absolutely,
a traditional argument. I respect that.
Totally argument. But you got to understand that these guys have so much money. If you have any good idea, then they can just come and buy your idea. So you can still, yeah, it's true though. Yeah, it's true. So you can innovate all you want. You could be the most innovative company on the planet, like Sam Altman coming out with all this stuff. But then someone's just going to come and buy what you have, and chances are the number's going to be so vast that you're not going to say no. Right, no. So especially as a small business owner. So if you have a successful business, it can also benefit you as well too. But guys, let's take a look at INTC. People in the chat are mentioning this. It's starting to trade higher, putting in a pretty solid session here so far. Breaking through VWAP, which we like, and then now making new highs of days. So this thing is absolutely roaring compared to NVDA and AMD. So keep that in mind. Someone mentioned this, continuing to move higher. Let's see from a daily standpoint if it's even, so we've partially breached this gap, still crawling a little bit higher. I think it's going to take a little bit more in order for this thing to fully fill, and some time, especially some time on that one. So yeah, not a bad look on INTC. There's some really good looks today on the session, like Snowflake. I'm going to look to get involved in some NVDA, I think, at some point here, Sharif. We're going to see what it's doing around VWAP, but what are you cooking up over here?
Man, we're printing up storms here, Joseph. Okay, so where are we here? We're about 50 pennies now in the money on NNE. Got it off the 10 exponential moving average. Where am I long? I'm 70 long. I just took out 30. So there we go. This one's up 25%. Let's keep going with this one. This is good. Everything is fine. Nothing's a problem. No, I'm talking to myself here. I'm long sound as well, but I've got a planned dollar cost average at 710. I've wet my beak here at 725. I want to let you know that SoundHound has a large short float, 24.85%, about 25%. Make of that data what you will. Sometimes it's as old as 14 days, so we don't know who's been squeezed out today with this 12% PAMP. Wow, NNE is going. Now I'm seeing 40s on this. Okay, no, the high of the day is 40, so I guess I missed that. Let me see how many more outs I have on this monster. No, I've got one more out here, so I've got to really, I'm going to let this one go. So we're going to put it at the $0.50. Well, we're going to front run the $0.50 because it always seems to be a bit of psychological resistance. Now, if it keeps going, I'll get back in on NNE. It's awfully, awfully respectful, again, as I said, of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So this is good so far. Let's see if we can take out that top right now. This one, SOUN, I already mentioned. Let that one cook. QUBT, we're long 74s. We took out, where is it? We took out 25s. Now it's dancing at 10s. So this one gave me an opportunity to refill at 5s. I didn't take it. Now, why would I refill at 5? Well, you know, whole dollar, psychological support, yada, yada, yada. But that wasn't the only reason. Look at this area crest over here at, 9:53, so almost at 10 o'clock. We reject 5, and we do a big boy retracement down into 420. So an 80 penny pullback. So of note is $5. Then we take out 5. So I was saying to myself, all right, 5's proven itself as a big boy level. Do we refill at 5? Now, I don't like what I'm seeing from QUBT. Lower high with a flat bottom, possibly at 5. Now, if I was long 5, I'd be sweating. But I'm not long 5. I'm long 74s. So I've got a bit more room on this bad boy. So QUBT, I'm not going to refill here. But let me tell you what I will do.
Oh, that's a beauty. Jeez.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah,
Appreciate you, Joseph. What I will do is if this breaks and takes 520, then what it's done here is taken out this local high, and albeit on the 1, so let's not put too much stock into that. But then it defends 5 and then pumps up a new high, possibly looking like a double bottom. So 520 is of interest to me to add on QUBT.
Sorry to interrupt you. We have a solid question for you in the chat. Sharif, I am struggling with patiently waiting for setups. Any tips to improve from Tushar?
Wow, it's always a tough one to answer, right? Because it's so personality dependent, right? You know what I mean? That's a hard one for me to answer, brother. Look, I'm reading a book right now, and I kind of mentioned this to you guys already. It's called Do Hard Things. It was a book that was recommended by Brendo, by Steve Magnus, or something like that. And one of the techniques that he has in the book for really helping you to exercise patience. And in this case, he's calling it toughness, but it's just another word for having patience. And the like, he talks about zooming out. So the example that he gives is like, say you're going for a jog. Are you focusing on your pain, your calf pain, your quad pain, your heart rate, your breathing? Like that's the narrow, that's zooming in. Or are you kind of like letting your mind wander, thinking about family, kind of letting the time pass? For things that require you, to have patience, you can't zoom in, because if you're zoomed in on that, it's going to create, that anxiety that comes with it, etc. I would say, try to zoom out. Obviously, it sounds super easy to do and highly like theoretical, but I can personally say that it works for me because I run. Well, at least I run in the summers. I work out a zillion times a day. So this is, I have periods where I need to zoom in, make sure I have that excellent mind-body connection so I can get the right contraction in my muscles. And there's other times where I let my mind wander and I zoom out. I would try to explain it any different from a non-exercise related perspective, but I don't have. So if that makes sense to you, fantastic. If it doesn't, I'm sorry if I've wasted your time. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I've got to say about that. You just got to be able to zoom out.
Yeah, zoom out. Just to add on to Sharif's point, also just like collect yourself enough data to see where you're efficient, where you're efficient. All right. So if you're not trading well in the midday or near the close or out the open, right, then just avoid that, right? So now you know that you're not good at trading in this time frame. And then he's saying zoom out, absolutely. Zoom out, realize where you're efficient, where you are the most profitable. And then once you've been through enough pain, because that's what you have to do, once you've paid your tuition, you're going to be like, I don't even want to trade at this time anymore, all right? So you have a specific time frame that you want to trade in that specific time frame, and that will help not being as impulsive and help you be a little bit more patient. But we are going to send it off to Adara.
Quickly here, we're going to take a look here at PSX. This is Philip 66 here. Not a ton of volume on this move. It's about 500,000 shares, but a bit of an increase here in volume to the downside. We do have the U.S. District Attorney here of Los Angeles or in California here saying that Phillips 66 or PSX has been indicted for alleged violations of the Clean Water Act related to apparently the way it discharges its wastewater. So some water-related violations here leading to an indictment for PSX. Now we're going to take a look at our earnings segment. So take a look at some day one earnings plays and any names that are coming up for tomorrow or Friday's trading session that could be interesting for earnings. Of course, we have to talk about NVDA because this monster actually made new all-time highs. Now is actually down about 1% of the day. Lots of volatile trading for day one for NVIDIA. They did beat earnings per share and sales estimates. And their guidance here, not necessarily as strong as maybe people were looking for, but still above estimates here. $3.75 billion here for Q4 revenue that they're guiding, plus or minus 2%. That's compared to the estimate of $37.09 billion in revenue The company also announced they've already shipped 13,000 Blackwell samples during Q3, and they actually said they're going to be scheduling to beginning their Blackwell production shipments. So beyond the samples here this quarter, Q4 2025 for NVIDIA, they're going to continue to ramp this into fiscal 2025. But they noted there have been some supply constraints, specifically with both Hopper and Blackwell, though they actually said Blackwell is going to continue to exceed supply going into fiscal 2026. They're seeing some continued supply issues here for Blackwell going forward. Maybe a bit of a mark against this earnings report. Though Jensen Huang continued to speak positively about AI and its strength going forward. Mixed report here for NVDA, but generally pretty strong when it comes to the actual numbers themselves. Though again, lower growth than necessarily was expected, 94% year-over-year growth. Then we have Palo Alto Networks, which was initially down at the day, then up, now still up on the day and continuing to try to get a bit of a pop here. We did have a beat for EPS and sales. Rosenblatt upgrading the stock here this morning and raising its price target. Quite a few other analysts with positive notes. Their guidance was a bit more mixed here for Palo Alto Networks, but they did announce a 2-for-1 stock split. So stock split for PANW, they're set to begin trading post-split as of December 16th. Now, in terms of what's on the docket, not a ton of huge names, but INTU could be interesting. Intuit and NetApp both up on the day right now. NetApp here reporting at 4 p.m. Analysts are looking for 1.78 for earnings per share and 1.64 billion in revenue. Then for INTU, we're looking for $2.36 per share for earnings and revenue of $3.14 billion. RST and CPRT also reporting, guys.
Guys, keep your eye on Intuit. Sorry, Joseph. I got to tell you guys something that DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, being headed up by our friend Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy, they are floating an idea of throwing out a real and not a crappy IRS-made tax submission app, but a real app, a real one. Obviously, it's going to be involving Elon, so you know it's going to have some good stuff there. And in response to that, Intuit sold off aggressively because they obviously offer QuickBooks and whatever other tax software they have. So what I would say, number one, it's not going to affect earnings, obviously, because earnings are behind them. But listen to the call. I want to hear what their response is to what Elon and Vivek are floating with respect to that app, because it's going to be entirely free. Now, they like to pretend, Intuit likes to pretend that they offer you a free tax submission software, but the FTC actually made them remove that statement because they had so many built-in features that you had to pay for. So it wasn't actually free when all was said and done. So be on the lookout if you're invested or looking to swing, invest, whatever in that stock. Be listening to the call. I want to hear their response to that little headline.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Lee, don't think I forgot about you. I've seen the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Netflix. That's all he needs to say. We'll pull up my chart and you can take a look at this thing. Absolutely monstrous. I don't know, Sharif. I don't know what we're gonna do with this thing because we got to get into this stock somehow. I don't know if I know you're not in it either right now, right? Netflix?
No.
We need a split here. So maybe we'll get Adara to write a. Yeah, exactly. We need that would be that things would be a lot easier if we could do that. But again, Netflix continuing to trade higher and higher and higher. This thing is absolutely revolutionary, and I always use just kind of how the world had adapted to Netflix and how Blockbuster kind of fell behind the ball on this one. Nice. So I like to use the comparison kind of in crypto too as well too. So you got to be able to adapt to these things because Blockbuster is like, who's going to watch movies online? And then sure enough, that was the absolute downfall to it. So yeah, keep that in mind. Netflix is absolutely crazy, $5. And then Baron Bigley, quantum computing sector will explode like AI, QBTS. Let's take a look at that. QBTS, some quantum, D-Wave quantum. Penny stock right down Sharif's alley. Oh yeah, he's in it. Okay, so here we go, QBTS. I don't know if you've seen this one today, Sharif. But it's definitely moving. Not up, maybe not. It didn't come up on your scanner because I don't think it's up over 60 or 100% or whatever your criteria is.
Yeah, it's just the volume.
Yeah, it's just the volume. Oh, okay, it's the volume. All right, so there we go. D-Wave, good look there on the quantum look. It's absolutely roaring. Again, it's the new wave. A lot of quantum computing, and then we have Rohit Sharma, SMCI. Please, $2 super chat. Geez, thank you guys. Everybody's buzzing today. Much appreciated. SMCI. zoom out on this one because I think we're going to need to, Sharif.
Sir.
Have we potentially bottomed on this stock? I don't know, but as of right now, you are starting to get a little bit of a pullback. If you grabbed it around 15 and then they finally released a report the other day, then hopefully they get a little bit of a rebound. If you breach this gap, then the next potential target could be 46. But again, this stock is absolutely beaten down. And just the other day, they were talking about delisting this thing. So I don't know. I wouldn't be a long-time investor in it just yet. Let's see if it can recover and put together some solid quarters. What are you cooking up there, my guy?
All right, we're back in NNE, guys. Nano, nuclear. I'm long. Bang! We already took out like 3 orders, 25 pennies, just like that. Yo, this is moving. Nuclear is in vogue. We already know that. Just ask anybody who's invested in SMR or, you know, well, at least been in it for a hot minute since it went up. So there we got long again on this one. The 10 exponential because of its respect. I got in at 75s, took out 4/5 of the position into 29. Now I'm going to set up at 20s. Yeah, we're going to put it at 19. So we'll throw that order out there. We'll see if this one wants to continue to pamp. Anything below 55s, gone on this one. So we're long 75 on this bad boy. Let's see how Sound is doing. Sound is, okay, so Sound is coming into the 10 exponential moving average or so it seems. Let's look at this one because I was able to wet my beak on it, but now I'm out of the money on it. So here's the look. This one has support at 705. The 10 exponential is there as well as this top area wick at 935. So I personally gauge support in between 7 to 705. I already added at 705, so I don't want to add again. 4-candle red pattern right now being instigated by a topping tail ugly, you know what, into 728. So what I'm looking for, number one, is a 705 hold with the ultimate out being I have to give this room below 7 because of psychological support. So I will put it a couple of shekels, the stop that is, below that $7 area. Ideally, I'm looking for this one to respect the trend and bounce. Yeah, I can't even find the words. Bounce off that 10 exponential moving average. The other one that we've got, QUBT, still hanging out, baby. Look at this. This is setting up, I don't know, a second bull flag. We have the initial bull flag. This is a second one, higher lows, respect for the 10 with that seller seeming to be at that $1/5 of a dollar in and around 20. Ultimately, though, that big boy HOD is hanging out the $1/3 of a dollar. So I like this. Now, the only thing that I've done poorly on QUBT is not add, especially into 5 and into the 10 exponential. Again, this looks very much not the same, but looks like Sound in the sense that the 10 exponential and this area crest over here from earlier trading are one and the same. It's $5 on QBT, it's $7 on SLUN. So obviously different prices, different stocks, they're trading a little bit different, but in this same idea that I'm looking for area crest to hold up as support. RCAT, I traded this one yesterday and it's in focus again today. Now, it did dip below the 10 exponential, so it doesn't have that ultimate respect like we've been seeing with some of these other ones for the 10, but it is putting incrementally higher lows. And what I'm seeing is a 760 flat top. Now, it's not the ultimate flat top, but look at this. Entertain me here for a sec. 1115, reject at 60. 1120, reject at 60. 1130, reject at 60. 35, you guys get where I'm going with this. So there seems to be a seller of note at 60 with the other positive side being higher low, higher low, higher low. So I could absolutely be persuaded to weasel into this RCAT as well if it presents another good opportunity here, Joseph. So we're going to keep tabs on this.
Yeah, for sure. Gorav asked me to take a look at SBucks from as well too. But in the meantime, guys, I'm still hanging on to this IBIT position. Let's see if we can break this 55, 40-ish level and continue to move higher. I mean, we put in an opso. Stellar of a day so far, going to push for that 100K, it seems like, in the immediate future. I know the chat, I know everybody's saying 100K by Thanksgiving, so that'd be next week for you guys. I don't disagree at all, so let's see what happens in the coming days.
How good do you feel right now, though? Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You want to know the honest truth?
Yeah.
I feel like I should have more.
Always, right? Always anger as a trader.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how many shares you have, but you have a big position.
And I want more. But just because I had so much conviction within the setup and within the trade, and then when you have all these analysts saying having these price targets, you almost have to listen to them, especially when you believe in what's going on yourself too, right? So when, again, like using the NVDA example, everybody's like raising price targets on NVDA. But then when you have everybody else being like 250,000, 300,000, blah, 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 like it's like, and you're sitting around like 74K, I know. You almost, it's like, okay, let me throw the book at this and see what's going on. And I pretty much, to be honest with you, from a weighted standpoint, it's unhealthy. But again, I had so much conviction within the setup that it's like, okay, can I push more? But again, if it can always go against you, and it's a little bit dangerous how much weight I have on it. But again, just I can mitigate the risk. I know my tolerance and I know what I can do. But just because I should have more and I got a lot, but there's always more, right? You always want a little bit more. So that's just my stance on that one there. Yeah. How do you feel? How do you feel about that one there?
Well, I feel I have to echo that sentiment, obviously, because I don't have nearly the position you have. But I'm kind of caught between two minds. I want it to go up, obviously, to a for that. I want to get in more.
Yeah,
so I want that dip.
Exactly.
But I'm trying to be realistic in the sense that, I know that this thing is going to put likely higher lows into that 100. So I'm waiting, thinking if we get that, and like depending on what kind of camp you fall into. Some people say 100,000 is gonna, be sell the event. Everyone's gonna take profits. Some other people I was hearing say, look, if you're a fund manager and you're not in this thing and it hits 100,000, you're trying to hold on to your job. Yeah, right?
Big time.
So you're buying.
That's like NVDA too on that massive run have been on for the past 2 years. If you didn't have this thing in your portfolio, do you still have a job? I don't know.
I don't know, bro. If I'm a client, I'm putting that hard question to you. If you're a fund manager and if I'm a big boy client, why is my money not what my buddy is? My buddy over there is up, I don't know what percentage on his NVIDIA position. Why am I listening to his stories and not participating?
Yeah, why am I still on the average 10% return a year, right? When it's like anything else can happen. But yeah, I mean, also one thing that I want to add is that a lot of the analysts saying now that IBIT is optionable, now you can hedge your positions. It may hinder the volatility within the underlying asset a little bit. Yeah. But again, you also have to take into consideration that it is a volatile asset, so that's just coming. Does the community? Do people just accept the fact that you can hedge your positions now, or does it truly hinder the growth rate of Bitcoin?
I see what you're saying. So if I'm long the actual coin, or say the ETF, then I can take a put option as
hedge
a hedge
that way, or you can sell, calls, right? So exactly. So that's just an outlook on that as well too. But as of right now, we're breaking out. So let's go. Starbucks. Okay, guys. Gorev asked me about Starbucks. He says it keeps rejecting 100. From a daily standpoint, you're in this consolidation range here. If it's going to break, you're going to want to see that volume step in, Gorev. I don't know. I was at Starbucks literally the other day, and I spent $15 on 2 drinks. Yeah, my girlfriend got a decaf, and I got a dragon fruit something. I can buy 7 cases of water for that. So it's hard for me to, $2 a case, right? I can buy 7 of them. It's way healthier, and I enjoy drinking water. So again, at Starbucks, $15 for 2 drinks. Wait for that breakout, Gorev, and then maybe you can look to join that. But as of right now, it is getting stuffed at those levels, so keep that in mind until it breaks. I wouldn't be looking to join that one at all. What do you got?
Everybody's yelling about SMCI, and more sympathetic to your desires to talk about this. I could not be. It's good. It's big move. Let's go to the 5. This is SMCI right now, ladies and gents. It's good look. Rob EV, are you interested in the SMCI $30 break trade? Look, I'm not going to trade SMCI as a breakout. I personally the breakout for me would have been around this $28 area. Look at the umpteen amount of rejections we had in and around 28. So that's what I would have been looking breakout. But I do respect your point, that $30 area. It's, psychological resistance. So yeah, to me, I'm not going to trade SMCI right now. But if it does pull back into 28, I could be certainly persuaded into that as a retracement trade. Let's throw in the ticker for SMCI. What?
No, Ram. She asked me where am I getting $2 cases of water? No fills. No fills. What are you buying? Dasani or something? What are you buying?
I'm surprised Ram doesn't buy more expensive water.
She's getting,
to be quite honest with you.
No, Fiji water. Sorry, I should get that.
Adam DeLuce, love this. Sharif, remember when I came on the show and you said which stock? And I said NVIDIA. and the time was around $110. Adam, you don't gotta gloat, brother. We know you're a good trader. We know you do well. Nah, in all seriousness, of course, brother. I have a little bit, but I don't want any more exposure to the Mag 7. So I've got as much exposure as I think I can mentally handle right now with the Mag 7. So I'll leave it at that. Let's look at some of the trades we've got on at the moment. So SOUN, it's a pullback, but you know, I'm going to take the opportunity to either add here on the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. We don't have any each and every candle since 11:30, so we're going on, you know, half an hour now. Has been lower lows and lower highs, but we're still above 7. We're still above the 10 exponential. So on the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, I will be adding a small position to this. That's, of course, predicated upon it making a 5-minute candle to make a new high. Otherwise, it will get stopped out below 7. So SOUN, we're keeping an eye on that one. RCAT, look, we were joking calling this bad boy Doja Cat yesterday, but like, I mean, it's a respectable pattern. But that 760 seller is of note, and he's keeping everybody down, or they're keeping everybody down right now. So I need to see that 760 bad boy get taken out. QUBT, okay. So this breached 5, which is fine because we're long 74 and we already have one more out on this. But if this holds the 20 and then makes a new 5-minute candle to make a new high, I'm going to add to this position on Qubit. So we're going to pack our patience on both these bad boys here to see what we get, and we will not get upset. Now, the last little tidbit there on NNE, on my new trade on NNE, I did get stopped out for that one, but I had taken the majority of the position out already. So this is a good look. We've been doing well on NNE. We'll look to do a little bit better now. But now, as you can see, it's kind of doing that round at top, coming a little bit down. Back to SOUN, because I said that I would add on the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, and what the hell? Come on, bro. Let's see, this one, the high there, 708, the previous candle, 706. Okay, so now let's see exactly what we get here. I'm going to be persuaded to add to this position. Now, if we start getting that curl up, I just don't want to add and then have this make a lower high and then get stopped out. So I'm a little hesitant at the moment on SOUN, but I know full well, you know, that this has a higher short float. It's got association with NVDA, and it's been respectful of 7 and the 10. Yeah, now it's putting a topping tail candle. That ain't not the look. That is not the look. See, it makes that first 5-minute candle make a new high, and now it's looking like an inverse hammer candle. That's not what I want to see. Here's what I'm showing. Here's what I'm looking at. I mean, so this candle, we're making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. This candle breaches that. We make another higher high, barely though. That's why I didn't want to add. Just kind of had the feeling there. So I'm going to pack my patience on SOUN. I don't need to add right now, but I will get stopped out if it breaches that $7 area. What are you looking at, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm just here holding into IBIT, but Sharif, Greg V, at Joe, made a Starbucks coffee from Snow, NVIDIA, and Qs today. Bang, bang, bang. All right, so good luck there. Guys, I mean, what was I just saying? Oh, so yeah, drop trades. What about COCH? Let me know what you got going on with COCH. I'm taking a look at it right now from a daily standpoint. It's not really intriguing me. More of a penny stock, kind of Sharif's field. I'm just sticking around here in IBIT as well too, guys. So let me see IBIT here. I'm not getting chopped up or anything, but these pullbacks is kind of just stair-stepping higher. I was unfortunate I didn't take any off the top here at some of these highs and continue in this. I should have just held this position instead of taking some off and just let it to continue to grind, considering it is relatively strong. And you can see this V-shaped pattern that is forming. So it's sold off with the rest of the market, but not as fiercely as some of the mags did, even though it is highly correlated with the Qs. So keep that in mind. But I do think it can recover. Is it going to go and test the high of day around 56 today? I'm not sure. Some volume's going to need to step in at some point, and then maybe we can continue higher. But as of right now, these pullbacks it's just like pullback leg higher, pullback leg higher. We are kind of consolidating right now. So COCH is not a joke. Once they're done with the clinical trials on their new revolutionary cochlear implant, the stock will explode. Just saying, guys. Okay, so yeah, I don't know too much about the company. From a technical standpoint right now, it's not something that I'd be too intrigued. And nor do I really play biotech as well too. I'm just not, I haven't had any success throughout my years in trading biotech other than Moderna and Pfizer during the pandemic. Excuse me, but yeah, hopefully you're in at a good price there, drop trade, so good luck. Joe, VSAT looking for an entry around VWAP. If it pulls back, would you get calls in this thing? Yeah, sure, let's take a look here at VSAT. Or you, excuse me, choking on, oops. VSAT, sorry, yeah, let's hold on, give me a second. VSAT, boom, VSAT Inc., NYZ, oh, okay. Would I get calls from here? Joe, looking at VSAT entry, VWAP, it pulls back, would you get calls in this thing? Let's pull it down, let's break down this time frame here. Not up here, no. I wouldn't highly extend it on the session. There's no way I would be buying calls up here. Earlier in the day, for sure, if you're looking to play an options intraday trade, then you would want to maybe get in around after this opening drive on this consolidation here. So we opened up nice and strong somewhere in this time frame, and then you move up. Maybe on this 3-bar player, this ABCD, you get in around here, and then on that second leg, you look to get in on there. But as of up here, no, it's highly extended. I would expect this thing to pull back sometime in the near future, but there's no way I would be buying calls all the way up here. I would definitely want to get in at a much better price on that one. Also, I don't know too much about the company, but yeah, no, you don't buy calls up there. Well, you can if you want to, but I would not be buying calls all the way up there, nor would I be buying equity all the way up there. I would definitely wait for price to come to me and start to pull back, absolutely, because I'm going to have to get out of IBIT here. It is at my break-even price, so I don't want to hold on to that any longer. I don't know what NVDA is up to as well, too. This thing is absolutely weak, and I know someone in the chat mentioned 150 today. I don't think 150 is in the picture for today. We rejected those all-time highs, like 153 earlier in the session, and then just continued to sell, and then sure enough, it just dragged the overall market down with it, and so did Google as well, too, so down on that. AMD was really strong in the pre-market, too, so I'm like, are we going to slowly start to recover on AMD? But no, that was not the case. Living up to its name, Advanced Money Destroyer. So yeah, that's the look on AMD and NVDA. I'm not saying that it can't recover, but we're going to need some volume to step in, and we're going to need a heavy buy program to start stepping in as well too, in order for this thing to get even relatively close to 150 today. I'm not going to rule it out. It is first day after earnings, so anything can happen. A buy program can come in the latter half of the session. But as of right now, I would be not expecting this stock to go trade to $150 on the session.
All right. So first of all, I want to mention something over here. Dropped sales, telling me about a new company, COCH, something about possible. Basically, it's a medical device for hearing, okay? So it's a good look there, and it was something that I want to talk about because Brendo and I were talking about this. It's like, you know, really putting back in the user's control and giving them the tools to be able to, you know, just know things about their medical status, etc. Like, just like, for example, my watch. There's this new kind of metric that everybody's using called heart rate variability. Right, where you know it's looking, Neil's got it. Yeah, he's pumped. So it's kind of basically what I'm trying to say with lacking all eloquence is I like the segment for these new kind of commercialized medical devices that we wear that give us information all the time, but how we're doing this, that, and the other. I think this kind of falls with it. COCH is what he was saying there. So shout out to him. Thanks for that. Separately here, before Neil takes over with his lesson of the day, I want to mention IONQ. This is a good, this has been a good looker these last couple of days, but it has a propensity to give back the entire move. It did that again today. So again, we went from that 28 and change all the way up to 32 and change, gave back the entire move, but we're right back at the highs. So this one's super volatile. Keep your eye out on this one. If you're looking from a macro perspective, it's putting in higher lows all throughout. So seems to be like a bullish trend. One of those ones I'm keeping my eye on, Joseph. So we'll find out how this one did when we get back from Neil's lesson of the day. Oh, we're going to
Before we get to Neil, I'm just gonna give us a quick look here at what we've had so far in this market. S&P 500 and the Qs both a little bit rangy. If you look at this 15-minute chart for the SPY, slightly higher low, but still definitely chopping and churning here between that 587-ish range with a top of around 592, 591. So bit of a range here on that 15-minute chart for both the SPYs and the Qs. Here are the Qs for some context there. We have had Fed comments throughout the day. Earlier this morning here, we had Financial Times reporting that Richmond Fed's barking here, expecting a decrease here in inflation across the U.S. So potentially a dovish remark there. We had Fed's hammock in the morning here, along with some data here for initial jobless claims and Philly Fed Business Index. Then here at 12:25, so just in about 20 minutes here, we're going to get comments from Fed's Goolsbee. 12:30, Fed's hammock takes the mic once again. And then at 1 p.m., we'll get the 10-year tips auction. So quite a few potentially market-moving things to keep an eye on through just the next hour here. Tons of movers here, both during the day on some catalysts and just in general. We do have some new catalysts coming out here as well. Roblox apparently facing an undisclosed probe by the SEC enforcement and the FTC following a Hindenburg research report. It's worth noting, though, this news was reported by Hunterbrook, which is another kind of short report hedge fund type situation. So be aware, Hunterbrook reporting that Roblox is going to be facing this SEC and FTC probe after Hindenburg basically reported that the company had inflated its key metrics. So RBLX on watch here. MSTR, though, this is another one that faced a short report. We had Citron Research basically saying here around 9:43 a.m. that they're actually shorting MSTR as a Bitcoin hedge. Now this one down only about 1% now, but at its lows, it was actually below yesterday's opening price. Now we have SNOW, Snowflake, up about 31% here. Strong earnings report here, expecting a 29% growth here in product revenue for fiscal 2025, and announcing a team up here with Anthropic. So great look here for SNOW. Tons of tickers to look at. You can actually vote out of 4 tickers which one you'd like to see covered in the rundown. I believe the options are MSTR, GOOGL, Snowflake, and NVDA. So just vote for your choice in the poll. That ends at 12:30, so you only have a couple minutes or 25 minutes left to vote. Let's see what Neil's cooking over there during his lesson of the day.
Thank you very much, Adara. Well, look, the lesson of the day is going to have to do with overall sentiment and exuberance. Because I think going into today, no questions asked, when you looked at NVIDIA down after earnings and then climbing back to go green, and then the acceleration going into the open, I think everyone and their mother was going to be looking for that 150 breakout trade. But and I was just talking to Obi about this. There's nothing look, that could be a day maker. Like, it busts through, it goes immediately $1 before you're like, you can give me a break. It goes instantly $1 in the money. It's about as good as it's gonna get. Then you get 2, then you get 3. Everything about that break is good. But the actual reversion back through was a bigger move. Now, why was it a bigger move? I think sometimes you've just got to look at stepping back in the bigger picture. Because what was also happening is, remember, everyone's looking at Bitcoin possibly getting to 100,000. You've got gaps up in all of the crypto names. And MicroStrategy, which has been like that over-the-top hedge, squeezing everybody type of mover, was also doing a move at the open. But if you looked right at 9:30 as they're breaking out on NVIDIA, well, what's happening at 9:30? This is already double topped and then losing the bid. So you've got a bit of a momentum and sentiment strike against all of the growthier squeezing type names. And that's one of the reasons, and again, like, my strategy is my strategy, and I'm gonna do this every single time, but if you're somebody that's gonna hold on to the bulk and wanna get back in off VWAP and give it a couple of dollars down in here to 147, 148, if you're looking at what's going on across the board in a situation like that where, hey, you didn't even break and you just immediately lost the bid on something like a MicroStrategy, it's already headed to the downside. Coinbase was fading very heavily. You had some of the bigger names, like a Google, which was flushing. Like, you had a lot sentiment-wise that was setting up that NVIDIA for a lot of failure. And so that's a possible reason. And again, everyone has to have their own trading style. Why maybe once it failed to 150, that was just a bigger short setup. And then things like buying the dip off of VWAP or buying the dip off the prior high, you might want to stay away from them. Now, the other thing I want to point out is, like I said, everyone is always going to have their own trading style. I like to have the tight stop. When Tesla did its thing, I looked bad for having stops like that on Tesla. It looks good today on NVIDIA. You've got to stay in your own lane. That's another important point. Whatever it is that you normally do, you have to stick to your plan. That's what worked for me today. But I also want to point something out, which I'm going to start doing. When you have a very steep trend, like NVIDIA had to the downside, and it was, and there's no question about it, a huge fail break, steep trend. When it tried to hold the break of the trend line, wide stop rinsed, tight stop worked. But then I look at what happened after you leave the trend line in, and sometimes this is something that you need to do. It broke trend, didn't work. It then held the trend line into a bottom. I was looking for a potential bottom to set something up for another trade. Well, all you had to do was leave in the previous trend line. It holds it. First green candle after holding that wick. There's a potential entry for you there. Now, I didn't have it, but the lesson of the day isn't just about patting yourself on the back. It's about what can you try to do a little bit better. And I have a setup that I know I like, which is when it closes back above that previous trend line, get in, get that tight stop. Well, this is the setup that I'm going to try and work from now on. If it then ends up holding that prior trend line and gives you another setup, here's the bottoming tail candle. I can zoom it in. I mean, that's pretty easy to see. There's your close above. Your long somewhere in here, 141.5 to 142. Your stop is either, prior bar 141.13, or you can give it to the low of the day. That's a matter of preference. You got to work the trade and back test it yourself. And then your play back into VWAP is the way to go. The other thing that I want to end with here is when the sentiment like this is overall, all the biggest movers that were to the upside and trending the best have now trapped everybody and are flushing like an absolute rock. What I want to see happen is what big time mover did not take fresh lows. That's why you saw me go over to SMCI. Why? Because SMCI was oddly enough not dying when we had that change in sentiment. At the open at 9:30, we come back and end on this for SMCI and why I thought it looked like the best long opportunity. SMCI was at $28. Can we come to the chart again? SMCI was at 28 when everything failed at 9:30 and rolled over. SMCI double topped. It got back to that prior high. SMCI stayed green. It might have lost the low, but it didn't lose pre-market support like everything else did, down around 26 and change. So you had relative strength in SMCI, which was just as explosive upside. This is a stock didn't go 10%, 15%. Most of the other names like that today were dying. This one didn't. So once it reclaimed VWAP, easy long, I'm out early, but that's going to happen. Like I said, my style is my style, and it continues to run. I was trying to go from station to station and try and find something that was relatively strong because the sentiment and all the growth and explosive chip names and crypto names was nasty. So I'd rather try to find something which was not nasty to the downside to try to pick a long in, and then you're just getting a normal breakout and a normal long setup instead of catching a falling knife. Sometimes you've just got to be very particular about it. Find a new entry, which I think I might have found a strategy on NVIDIA that I have not deployed before that next time I can try out. The other thing is, I thought it was pretty easy when sentiment was that nasty to not be dip buying at every single level on NVIDIA. And then the third thing you got to look for is what is not doing the same overall capitulation? What's holding its range while everything else is bleeding? And then look for that for the retracement. Why? Because you'll get just as much juice out of the move, if not more, with less risk. And ultimately, that's what we should be looking for. Get the juice in the move, but not have to risk everything. Don't have to risk the entire biscuit if you search for the right opportunity. So that's your lesson of the day. I think we all saw how nasty the move was. Clearly, if you were short, it was fantastic. But if you weren't, you had to be particular about finding some strategies to get in safely on a bounce, or just finding something which was a little bit stronger than the rest. Play that long in. So good luck, everybody. Still a half a day to go and plenty of action.
Love to hear it. Thank you very much, Neil. Informative, eloquent, and just awesome, all around awesome as always. Neil's lesson of the day every day around that noon hour. Thank you very much. All right, Joseph, I want to talk about LUNR here super quick. LUNR, not one that's entirely unknown to us. It's been on the small cap gappers side chart many times in the past little while, and now it is knocking on the door of a very familiar area of resistance that happens to be $14. Let's have a look at the hour chart and do a little bit of TA here, because it's no coincidence that we're rejecting at this level. So there we go. This was the pump there on the 19th. We got almost into that 14, looks like 13 3/4 over here. Back on the 14th, we certainly breached 14. Look, we weaseled up into 15 1/4, but look at the closing prints on both of these candles on the hourly, both south of 14. And what's the high of the day today? Oh, 13.99. So we've been dancing with 14 for a hot minute. So I did anticipate resistance around there. And let me tell you, this is a free, it's a free shorting situation for us here at Real Trading. But I don't want to stand in front of this monster as a short, despite the fact that I like the level. Let me tell you what the short interest is on it. LUNR, 31 2/3% of the, how many shares float does this thing have? About 55 million shares, of which, say 32% or thereabouts, is board for short. The other reason I didn't want to get long or short, I don't want to get short obviously because of the high short float. Why I didn't want to get long is because it was awfully extended away from the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, which I use as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold conditions only for small cap gappers. And this one was awfully far away. I was waiting to see exactly how we set up. Now, we could be bull penneting, bull flagging up in here with that 14 HOD. What I want to see is a few more candles manifest so I can kind of get a gauge for the areas of resistance and support around this area. Now, if that means me missing the trade, that means me missing the trade. But if we do take 14, I can get in and have a stop in and around 14 or thereabouts to see if we can kind of weasel into that. So LUNR, certainly on watch by me here. We'll keep an eye out on that one as the afternoon goes on, Joseph.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, I entered some NVDA here. I'm looking for it to recover a little bit. We're down about 1.44% on the session. So I'm looking for a little bit of bounce here. If we break 143, then I'm going to get out of this trade. And then I think the sentiment right now for the session is weak. I do think that will pick up relatively soon, and then we can continue to move on that northeast path. But as of right now, we're again, as I mentioned, down 1.4, but we're getting a little bit of a bounce here right now. So let's see if we can go and test VWAP around 146 or 145 halves. That will be the play that I'm looking for is to hold these specific levels and we don't get that flat bottom break. I think if we do break 143, then we can potentially head a little bit lower. But again, good report, good outlooks, raising guidance as well too, I think as well too. So keep that in mind. Bitcoin is breaking out, but I'm looking for this bounce on NVDA. The one thing that I'm a little bit frustrated about myself in this IBIT trade is that I knew it was going to be a little bit more of a slow burner. It's not really a momentum style trade style of a play. I should have just held into this position. As you guys can see, if I just held from VWAP, then I would just be slowly grinding higher right now. But instead, I was looking to take some micro profits and then, partials here, and then just getting back in, and then these pullbacks were a little bit too deep for my liking. So again, just a buy and hold from that standpoint would have been the ideal play as it continues to break out right now, and see if we can go and potentially test that high a day of around $56, which is around 98K, I believe, on the underlying asset. Let's see what BTC, let's see what the total high a day was. I think it was 98-ish on that, if I stand corrected. So keep in mind, I do think we recover and we go and potentially test at some point within the near future, maybe tomorrow, that it goes to that 100K, or even maybe later this evening, because I know lately when I've been waking up and looking at my phone, the overseas markets has been pushing this thing higher and higher as well too. So that's my look there, guys. If you have anything, Riot and Mara, some people are saying in the chat, we'll take a look at them as well. Mara doing half decently on the day, recovering, now trading above VWAP. See if we can go and push this high day as well. on Mara, that pre-market high over there. But again, a nice V-bottom recovery on this one. Some potential bottoming signals as well too, as we slowly start to curl over. But one thing I do want to keep a lookout on is Google. We are starting to put in that rounded bottom, Sharif, and slowly starting to curl back over. Especially it's down 6% on the session, which is absolutely insane. Especially on something that isn't written in stone just yet, and we were already talking about Google. So I'll look for a little bit of a recovery on this one here to see if we can step in as it is kind of right now. So you know what, Sharif? You know what I'm going to do here, my friend?
Yes, sir. Ooh,
yeah,
profits, baby. I like that.
You are, or no? I'm just about to get in. Yeah.
Oh, you were wetting your beak.
Yeah. That was a beak wetter there. Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm looking to get into it, see if we can curl back over and then potentially test VWAP. But I am looking to potentially take some profits, Sharif, in the long term, and then allocating that to something else. But what do you got going on?
Love that, man. I weaseled into LUNR here, or took some profits on the table, layering out my orders. This one, it's above 14. So I said I'd get in if it was above 14, and I'm in. So let's see if this one continues to go up, or it's going to make me look bad. We're long at 04s, packing my patience with this one. So let's let that one cook. The stop's already in play. But I have to be careful with this one because it's free to short for us. So because it's free to short, it makes me concerned that, you know, we could definitely have that downward pressure on it. You don't have to borrow shorts, this, that, and the other, and it's had a big move up. So looking to de-risk a little bit over here on this bad boy. Let's look at the other one that we're involved in, SOUN. So I didn't get my fill at 5, but this one continues to hold 705 and the 10 exponential. It's now putting in higher lows, but not necessarily higher highs. So it looks like it may be rounding over here. I think it's bull flagging, right? We'll see whether or not I get the print. The next print I've got set up over here is 23s, and we've layered our orders on this one already. High short float, about 25%, give or take, on this bad boy. So we're going to keep an eye out on that one. RCAT is really close to the high of the day, like really, really close. This one was a beautiful double bottom off the volume weighted average price, give or take, weaseled down to 7 1/3. Now it's all the way up into 7 4/5, looking at taking out that 786 HOD. It's been uninterrupted to the high side, four candle pattern green on the 5 right now. So we'll keep tabs on this one. I mean, I think I missed my entry on this. So, you know, I don't really necessarily want to chase it all that much, but we'll keep an eye out to see if it takes 786, that high of the day, and how we could trade it in and around there. This is what it looks like out on the trading screen. Great look for RCAT to the high side. Back to, let's go back to, what's that one called? LUNR is still dancing with 14, you know, a little bit above, a little bit below with 14 HOD. What else we got? We already talked about SOUN. Oh, Qubit, the one that we're still involved in, still waiting for that print at 5 1/3. It's below 5 right now, but it's still holding up. You know, and where are we long? We're long 74, so I can give this one a little bit of room with only one more out left. Let me tell you, though, if it breaks this area crest or trough, sorry, over here, in the mid-80s, I think I'm going to, you know, call it quits and get at a dodge. I don't want to see necessarily lower highs and lower lows through this area of importance. Why is this area important? This $4.95, $5 area? Well, because of this area crest, right? If it's an area crest over here, I look to it to flip to support once it's taken as resistance. So if this area gives way, I'm going to have to move up my stop to get out of dodge. Yeah, man, RCAT is still going, guys. I'm seeing this on the sides. Where the hell is it? I've got too many trades on at the moment, man. It's hard to manage all these. RCAT, there we go. So now it's 1 penny off the HOD. 785s now showing up on the level 2. So this one, what a hold up at the volume weighted average price and moving into the highs. Rohit, he's using TradingView. You're looking to set up a 10 exponential on the chart. Okay, I haven't used TradingView in a hot minute, so I will do that for you. I will do the demonstration for you. Just let me make sure that I've got it on the right one over here. Okay, so let's go to TradingView. Let's do this. Am I logged in? Yes, I am. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's type in AAPL. Okay, so how do you set it up? So there should be this thing, indicators. See this over here, Rohit? See where it says indicators? You click that bad boy, and then there's a search. Type in exponential. There we go. Moving average exponential. There you go. So now you've clicked that bad boy right there. right? And now you've got a couple. So see over here, it says EMA 9. Now you can edit them, Rohit. So see them on the side, you click those 3 little dots, and then you go settings. And then we can change the length. So you wanted to use what? 10. So we're gonna change 9, we're gonna change it to 10, Rohit, right there, okay? So the length is gonna be the 10 exponential, you click OK, and now you have a 10 EMA. So we'll remove, we'll delete the 9, and then we'll go, like, let's just go into the 5-minute, and then you see the blue line there, that's the 10 exponential moving average. You can change it to whatever you want, go back to settings, where are the colors and stuff like that, style. There you go, you can change it. I like blue, so I'm leaving it on blue, bro. And then the thickness of the line, too, is usually pretty important. Line or whatever. You can play around with this. So indicators, use a search, exponential moving average, thank me later. Bang on LUNR. Here we go, baby. We're taking out high. We got to take it out at 25, Joe. I can't sit there and wax poetic about how much I love 25 without taking it out there, my man. So there we go. Now we're moving to the high side here. Let me see how many shares I have left on this. All right, we got one more on this bad boy, so we're going to have to pack our patience. I'm going to sit in a lofty area, Joe. Let's go 43s, because 44 is an unlucky number, right? So we're going to put up 43s over here. We'll look to front run the $0.50 on LUNR. We're long 04s. Good luck. This is a highly, highly shorted name, guys. It's about 35 some odd % short, so keep your eye out on this one. It could absolutely squeeze. We'll have to keep a look at that. What did you say, Ram? Yeah. Okay, last 5 minutes, guys, and I want to tell you, you guys are doing a fantastic job with the votes, man. We got, I think, about 3,000 votes yesterday between both polls, and this poll, guys, screen please, 14,009 votes, guys, and here are your choices. Obviously, the monster of the day, NVDA, gets the cake. Joseph got it yesterday. He's probably going to get it again today. 47%. Second, not far second, though, Joseph, 20% for MSTR for Mr. And then we got Goggles over here getting shellacked on the day, 19%, and Snow. I put some respect on Snowflake, man. It's up 30, 50% today. Distant, no, not a distant, but it's down 14, or it's only got 14% of the votes. We will throw up a new poll, ladies and gents, in 4 minutes. We're going to throw up 4 new tickers. We're going to either take 2 or 3 from these ones over here, or 2 or 3 from the ones from the second poll. Reason is 2 or 3 because we can only put in 4. So you know, it's a bit of a dealer's choice there. What's going on over there, Katina, man? He's $789 in the money on. I'm assuming it's NVIDIA. 3 on each. So NVIDIA and Apple, right? NVIDIA and Apple. The Katina man, $3 in the money. There you go, George Washington. Get it, sir. He's in the dollar club, Joseph. You know, it's just the Katina man's always in the dollar club, bro. He's got a booth. Back. Yeah, dude. He's got bottle service up in that.
That's why I was laughing, because he comes back from swimming. Moments later, boom, we're in. Next thing you know, we're in the club, dollar club, partying it up, and I love it. It's good stuff there.
Katina man, do you have a regular booth in the back with like everybody, you know, and do they bring you different mixes? You get a little bit of OJ, cranberry, Katina. Depends on the club.
Depends on the club. Man, the dollar club, for sure, he's getting that.
I love this guy, bro.
The dollar club, he's for sure getting that.
Katina man's an OG, bro.
VIP access at all times for.
All right, Joseph, we wet our beak there on some profits on SOUN as it continues to curl back up. Ultimately, though, those are baby outs. The bigger out at the 23 and the 29. So really, really looking for SOUN to do its best curling motion up here and get up, baby. Ever play curling, Joseph?
No, I've never curled, no.
No, are you a fan, or is it one of those ones where you're like, no, this is too slow for me?
No, I mean, hey, I have nothing against curling. I know it's definitely tough, but it's not like a sport where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go and play. But I heard it's a good time.
I heard it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's very Canadian. No.
Super Canadian.
Are you familiar with Unionville, like the area of Unionville up in Markham?
Not really.
Yeah, there used to be a Unionville curling club there. We were just
Well, where I used to play hockey, right beside there was a curling club.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. They're both ice up there. So that's the reason I was saying curling, obviously, because it's curling.
It's curling back.
There we go, baby. There we go.
Let's go.
And the market's coming back, guys. All right, we're going to throw up that poll for you guys in 2 minutes, so get your picks in now. We have 1,450 votes. Let's see if we can get to 15. I don't think we can get to 15, Joseph. I don't think they have it in them.
Yeah, I think they can do it. I think, they got it. Yeah, they got it. I have 1,500. Let's go. Get those votes in, guys. And who knows what can happen if you do get that to 1,500. But Sharif, what we did here is we took a little scalp on Google here as it was curling over, and then we got stopped out break even. But we're sitting in this NVDA grind here. If we can pull up my screen real quick, to just show you what I had cooking up on Google. We took some off there, and then now it's starting to curl back up again. But I'm totally fine with this thing. It's been destroyed on the session. So I think if it starts to curl over, it can possibly drag the rest of the market with it. But with that, I'm in NVDA, and I'm going to hold. I think I'm going to hold this to VWAP. If we can get to VWAP, I think some buy program will eventually step in at some point within the day. If it doesn't, then oh well. But I think from this standpoint, we're going to excuse me. We're going to continue to hold this until we can get to 145, which I think it can happen in the near future. Especially if the market does decide it wants to turn around. Especially if Apple is trading higher, Google can possibly turn around. I know Netflix is possibly still running as well too. Let's take a look at what Meta's up to as well. These things are putting absolute monster days, except for today. But yeah, Meta's still a little bit down on the session. It is starting to recover. Let me see it from a lower time frame. Now trading above VWAP and holding it. So keep that in mind. If these mega caps can start to recover, then I think NVIDIA will follow that as well too. So future day trader billionaire, $10 super chat. Would NVIDIA see the high of day? I have been watching this show since 2020, back with Valerie days. Okay, I'm not familiar with her. Bought the 260K evaluation with 10% off from this channel. Thank you. Okay. Will NVIDIA see the high of the day today? I won't rule it out, but the chances are slightly slim, in my opinion. I don't know, Sharif, what do you think? Do you think NVDA gets back to high of days?
I don't know, bro. Look, I have no way of knowing. But last time the way it traded was it sold off 6%. Remember we were looking at the implied volatility and we saw what the previous move was? Yep. And then what did it do after that? It printed new all-time high. So, you know, Nas Boss gave us a little bit of he gave us some insight into how these hedge funds work. So he was working for a hedge fund once upon a time, and he was explaining, he's like, look, man, when the report comes out, the buying committee sit down, they digest all the information, they vote on how to proceed. And so a lot of the buying subsequent to the earnings report is, you know, it's not done by the algos. It's done later. You know, the accumulation distribution patterns that we always talk about with Wyckoff, that's typically big money positioning into a stock. So I don't know if we see it today, but I know that 150 is just a matter of time until it gets
well, this is what I said. Every analyst and their extended family has 170 plus, right?
Said,
so eventually, we're not saying today or tomorrow or within the week or next week, but eventually, if all these price targets, everybody has their price targets, then eventually, do it. Hit the club, Katina, man. Hit the dollar club. $9.
Now he's only $7 in the money, guys. It's a light day for the Katina man today, you know.
Wow.
All right, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
I'm throwing on the what's it called? The poll for the second.
We hit 1,500, so there you go.
We did. Yeah, you were right. I was wrong.
Man, I had faith.
You're right. So I'm throwing an SMCI on there. I'm gonna throw one small cap gapper. I'm just trying to decide which small cap gapper. Neil, any preferences on a small cap gapper we should throw on there? NNE. That's what I was going for as well. Thank you, Neil. So we're going to throw that on there. And then I'm going to have to look for a couple of more here that everybody's invested in and that's moving on the day. So, Joseph, just give me one quick sec just to get that off
you want to send it? You want to,
yeah, because I got to send Ram the new poll.
Of course.
Yeah,
okay. No, actually, we're going to send it off much better looking than Idera.
Let's take a look here at some of these small cap movers. IWM still looking pretty strong here. Last time we talked around 10:20 a.m., it was hanging out around 223. As of right now, we're above 233. Now we're above 235. So great look here for the Russell 2000, which is up almost 2% on the day. tons of movers to talk about, including VSAT here. There is this website, Capital Trades here, and had some traders circulating basically this, again, unconfirmed, this idea that Debbie Wasserman-Schultz, a U.S. representative here, has potentially bought stock in the company. So potential here holding from Representative Wasserman-Schultz, sending VSAT to the upside with a 19.7% short float. Then we have HYLN here. Hylian, this stock, not seeing any catalyst on this. They reported earnings last week, but you do have about a 9.5% short float here for HYLN. And last but not least, Intuitive Machines, LUNR. I know Strake's been involved in this one. Just to shout him out there. They had earnings last week, and today they're announcing this partnership with Johns Hopkins University with regards to advancing lunar communications. So great look here for LUNR, 31.5% short float. Guys, make sure to like and subscribe.
Appreciate it, Dara. Appreciate you, Adara. My favorite segment, the small cap segment. I mean, come on now. All right, here we go. As Adara was talking about LUNR, she brought in the good juju because it's going into the high of the day, Adara. Adara, you got to stay at the green screen all day, man. You got to say, Adara's good luck. There we go. LUNR takes out the high of the day. It's going, Joseph, here. $0.50 seller, LUNR. Oh, baby. Look at that topping tail, baby, right into that 80s. I was I was lacking ambition, I guess, in the beak wetter placement. We put it at, we tried to front run that $0.50, so much that I knew there. This one really squeezed. So LUNR, we're done with that trade, happy with it. We'll look to do a little bit better in terms of position sizing. If it comes back into 14, Joseph, I've got a decision to make here. Okay. Because it defended 14 for a hot minute. So it's not like
what are you leaning towards? What is the decision?
I might add. Yeah, if it dips back into 14, I might add.
All right, I see you. I see you.
So that's what we'll look for there. LUNR, sir. We also got several prints. Boom on SOUN. Now we're long 12. Appreciate you, Katina, man. But we did not get that big boy fill that we were waiting for at the HOD at the high of the day, which is 728. We're still zigging and zagging right now. So we have a better cost basis now with 712, having taken out some of that. I still have my dip trade set up at 05s, and I still think it's valid because it's really held the level. So SOUN, big short flow, much like LUNR, mid-20s and mid-30s for both these bad boys. So we'll keep tabs on that, Joseph. But yeah, it is a nice small cap gapper day. Ram, can we throw in that new poll, please? Thank you. All right, what are you looking at, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at Google working in my favor and not being in the position, but that is totally fine because we are in some NVDA. Well, now that it's pulling back, so fantastic. That feels amazing, but I mean, hey, listen, Google's starting to recover here, put in this potential bottom. It broke this prior resistance up here around 165.51 as well, too. Still down about 5.5% on the session, so keep that in mind. Can it recover? Fully recover? I don't think so, not today, but it's slowly starting to recover. Maybe some profit taking from the short end. So we are getting that little bit of that move to the top side here. Is it going to break VWAP? I'm not too sure. I think a little bit of volume is going to have to start stepping in on the lower to higher time frames in order for us to break and hold. Again, the news on this isn't the best, so I don't know how much of a recovery you can expect, but again, we're off the lows, which is positive. And then we're going to go and trade around VWAP so we can see what happens around there. But other than that, we're still holding our NVDA position. I told you our price target is 145, and we're going to hold until then. So we'll see what we can do. We were just getting closer, wanted to take some off, but I said, hey, if we're going to recover, then I think we come back and can breach VWAP to the top side, especially if the broader market starts to join this as well, too. So keep that in mind. We are pulling back here on this. I do like the volume step. The buying pressure is starting to pick up a little bit, but as you can see, we have lower highs here. So if we can hold, and 143 is going to be my definitive out regardless of what happens. So just keep that in mind. I have an out, and I also have a price target. We'll see which one gets hit first. Guys, let me know which one you think gets hit first. Do we go to 143 or 145 first? Which one? Let me know what you guys think on that one. I'm also going to vote right now. Oh, Sharif, what am I going to vote for? Take a guess. I can't tell you.
I'm going to say... All right, this is actually a bit of a tough one here, Joseph. I'm going to say SMCI.
Ooh, PDD.
PDD,
I like PDD, yeah. Pin Duo, I like that one. It was down on the session as well, too, after reporting. So just keep that in mind. I like Pin Duo. But yeah, guys, we're just going to continue to hold on to this NVDA trade, see if we can get this 145, which can be potentially coming up next, especially if we hold this pullback on the low. We had lower volume, so keep that in mind. And LUNR is, what's LUNR doing? What do you got going on with LUNR? There? Oh, you're out. You're out of it.
Yeah.
You're out. Okay. All right, you're done with that one. So okay.
If it comes back into 14, though.
Okay. IONQ. I know a lot of people mentioned IONQ on the session, so I'll take a look at that as well too. Nice stock. Yeah, trading higher. Yeah, putting in an absolute solid day, trading around 32.30s. It just breached the high day as well too, which was sitting around 32.05. So yeah, good look on LUNR. A lot of things, as Sharif mentioned, it's a good day in small cap gapper world. So I'm glad that you're putting on some good trades.
Dude, it's been a hot minute that we've been like coming in, and the small cap gappers have been quite repetitive in showing up. It's not always the same guys showing up on the day, but you know, it's, I don't know. We were saying it's small cap season. I don't think it's small cap season. I think it's just market rotation. We've been talking about the small caps catching a bit of a bid with the interest rates coming down or projected to come down. So there it is. All right, guys. No, I cannot pick up your call now. Guys, I'm in a new position. We're in RCAT here for 10 exponential on the 5 holdup. I already wet my beak on some profits. I'm going to layer my orders with knowing full well that that 786 is the HOD, so we're going to look to front run it at 85s. There's a lot moving right now, man. There's a lot in terms of small cap gappers. Now, I know everybody's focused on some of these large caps, but look at this. CRNC, high a day. LUNR just printed high a day. IONQ, high a day. Sound just very close to high day. RCAT knocking on the door of the high of the day. NNE been hovering near high a day. And Qubit dancing with 5. These guys are not giving up the ghost. I mean, when it's not small cap season, they make their move and they're quickly down below VWAP. That's not what we're seeing here. So let's try to eke out some more stuff out of this, more profitability. Now, again, I was waxing poetic about LUNR to use in a dare term, but I want 14. And now we've got a couple of red candle formation with the top paying tail into 80s, 1480s that is. I'm going to put an alert out because sometimes I don't see everything that's happening at 10s. Because if this one's coming, it's coming in, baby. It's coming into 10s quick. And here it is already triggered. So let's go. Let's weasel on over to LUNR. No, I don't want to install you right now, Outlook. You are not of importance. So where is LUNR? Last screen. Here we go. Okay, it's coming into 14s. Let's see how this one dances with 14s. By the way, 14, not just the area of psychological support. It is also the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And if we gauge what this one has done with the 10 exponential on the day, it's been awfully respectful of it. So let's watch it bounce off 14. I'm not going to have a resting order anywhere around here. It's just far too volatile for me to do that. If I don't get the best price, fine. No problem. But it's going to have to prove to me that it's going to hold 14 before I weasel my way in. And right now it's doing a bit of a dance. You can see the tug of war happening between buyers and sellers. It dips into that low 14. Bought up quite aggressively. And keep your eye, if you're interested, on the time on sales on my screen here. When you see orange like that, see that orange come in? That's exuberant buying. That's buying above the ask, right? In the same way that if you see blue, that is selling below the bid. That's exuberant selling, right? So keep your eye on that. Sometimes it gives you a feel for how the stock is trading without actually looking at price levels. You just kind of see colors, which is funny. Yeah. But yeah, hey, whatever, teach their own.
That's why, yeah, no, totally. That you have to look at that because it's not like you can calculate every. No, you look for size and then that gradient's kind of that gradient change, right? So yeah.
All right, so let's see what we got over here. Okay, RCAT. We just took another fill there on RCAT. Let's go, Doja Cat, baby. We're waiting up here for 85. Sorry, Ram.
You don't like Doja Cat, Ram?
I like Doja Cat.
I don't like Doja Cat.
You don't like her?
No, I think she's super weird.
She's so weird. So weird. Of course she's weird. What's that, Ram?
Who's going to come?
Who's going to come? Oh, Fabian loves Doja Cat, right? I happen to like Doja Cat, right? I don't mind Doja Cat all that much, but
I like it.
Ram, why do you think that you're a cat? Like that just because of R? Yes, I understand. The letter R is synonymous with her name. There can be no others, Joseph. I don't know. My dad, his name is Rafiq. You're so funny. Anyway, Ram. Oh my goodness, Ram.
I like Glorilla.
What's that?
Glorilla. Yeah, you know her. I like her.
All right, guys, let's go. Let's focus on trading. Here we go. So it looks right now, Joseph, we got a couple of tests here, at least on the one on LUNR at 14. Both of them have passed the test. So is it time to weasel in? My answer to myself is yes. We're going long here, Joseph, and we're going to defend 14. We're not going to defend. We're going to put the stop below 13. We're going to account for a little bit of slippage up on this you-know-what. So there it is. We're going to throw out some orders. Let's throw out some orders up there. There we go. Let's see if this one continues to ascend. The seller at 30. We're going to layer the orders in anticipation of a $0.5 breakout. There's a hidden seller at 30, no question about it. Look at this. There's definitely not enough size on 30 to prevent all this selling from ascending, or all this size from ascending. So let's see if we're able to take out that 30 seller. Interesting here, as you know, obviously people profit taking. Okay, let's see. We just got a couple of prints above 30 on the ask, not so much on the bid. Let's see if LUNR can squeeze. Okay, there was the first fill. Come on, let's keep going, baby. Let's go. We've got some there in the high 30s, mid 40s. LUNR, it's got a bottoming tail candle off 14 right now. Can we continue to ascend up? We're up 19%, and we have a big boy short float on this one. It's 30-something% on LUNR, so we'll look to do a couple of good trades here, possibly if we can get filled for the second little out. We're going to have to pack our patience on this one, though. LUNR, Joseph, up 19%.
Yeah, beautiful. Good look there, Sharif. You know what I'm looking at right now is some sectors. I want to see what sectors are really strong and how the ETFs are trading. So I got my eyes on XLU, XLF, and XLE. All right, so we'll take a look at some of these sectors here on the session, and they're trading extremely, extremely well. So I like this XLU potential trade, but it's a little deviated from VWAP, so I'm gonna have to wait. One thing that isn't as far away from VWAP is XLF, and I really like to look at this. I went to see what JP Morgan was up to, and it's kind of consolidating, not doing too much. So I'm going to keep this in mind. It didn't quite break VWAP, so I'm assuming there's some moving averages that it's holding, maybe the 20 or something along those lines. Probably the 20 or the 50 maybe it's holding. But again, we didn't get that deep pullback to VWAP. But why I was looking at this is because SPY has now gone positive on the session, and the Qs haven't quite. So I was like, why is SPY going positive and the Qs are still slightly negative? All right, so I had to go and look at the sector ETFs in that behalf, and then sure enough, the leading sectors are the industrials, financials, technologies, and the utilities. So I'm like, okay, let me see what these sector ETFs are up to so I can get them as a whole. And sure enough, you can see that these are steadily trending higher. A little bit of a sector rotation going from tech to more of the defensive side of here, guys, all right? So keep that in mind. XLE is what I wanted to really look at, all right? Because it's starting to come back. I would like to see if this thing holds VWAP, and then I might look to get in some XLE here, Sharif, because I really like it trading around VWAP. IBIT is going for high a day, I believe, on the session. I tried looking at it. So yeah, I think IBIT is high a day as well too now. So I'm just going to stick to what's strong. If NVDA doesn't want to fully recover, then that's totally fine because there's so many other things to play right now. Sharif is having an absolute massive time with the small caps. There's sector ETFs that are trading significantly higher, and the SPY is starting to recover. We don't always need to be in tech all the time, especially, I mean, NVDA is a high catalyst report, and everybody was looking forward to it. But, I mean, oh, God. There. $77? $8 in total. 8. There you go. Send it over to him. Bang.
After. I got the mic.
You got a. It looks like you have a few shares there, Katina, man.
Couple.
Yeah, so basically, no, we did get stopped out right here earlier, and then it fell back in, and this was during the show. And I even said, like, if there's going to be a trade, you know, Apple all the way back to 230, did not expect that, obviously. Did not expect the market to be back to 0.46 as well, but it's a nice move to the upside. So this is that $4 winner. And we still do have a decent piece on. We have about 15% on still. Like, so it's a pretty good trade. The NVIDIA trade we've gotten lighter on. And again, this was a nightmare early. We did sort of talk about that one. And Joe, this one, as you know, because I just saw you in it, or you're still in it, it's not really moving that much. Apple seems to be the one that's really starting to go. And then I'm starting to think about buying some more We just sold some of this at 180 in the long term. I don't know if buying Google down here is the right idea, but that 164 looking pretty nice right into there. I don't know where the 200 period is. I didn't even look at it yet. I just know that we're back into the 50 period on the, oh, what? Silence. Just hits the 200 period exactly. Look at that. Look at that, Joe. Surprised that it bounces off exactly the 200 period. I mean, sometimes things are a little easy and sometimes they are hard, but let's go. And then look at this Walmart. I mean, again, this one was nothing too like overly dramatic about the name, but this is a day 3 play that continues to go a little bit higher in the retail space. I mean, we talked about breaking 88. I mean, that was a pretty simple top right there. That top was 88.25, which is why we started to get out. But you could see right here, 88 looks like that's going to be good. Lucky number 8 right there. So, yeah, that's about it. Just chilling out here, about to throw over to Adara immediately.
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Are you ready to take your stock trading skills to the next level? Trade the Pool and Trader TV's stock trading competition is coming soon, and it's bigger than ever. From December 2nd to 6th, you'll receive $200,000 in buying power to make your best moves and compete for incredible prizes. And here's the best part. The top 20 places win, so there's plenty of opportunity to secure a reward. Gear up for this intense 5-day trading showdown and prove yourself against other traders. Whether you're aiming for the top spot or looking to make your mark, this competition is designed to push you to your trading peak. The countdown's on. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description and sign up.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Keeping my eye on, well, let me just update you on a couple of positions. So, stopped out for the last remaining amount there on LUNR, Ramram, but this was the wrong area to place my stop. Why am I placing it in random areas? 14 is supposed to be the area of support. So why am I placing it above 14? Just asking myself questions to put pressure on myself not to do it next time. So LUNR, I'm going to be persuaded to get back in this because it's got umpteen amount of bottoming tails right now on the 5, off the 10 exponential moving average. On the 5-minute chart, off the 10 exponential moving average. That's what I'm looking at right here. These candles all bouncing and finding buyers right at that 10. That's not by accident, despite the fact that it's got a 4-candle lower low, lower high formation. Well, this one doesn't have a lower low, but you guys get it. Right now, we're in a bit of a pullback. Still very bullish on the day on this name, so we'll keep eyes on this one, up 17.9 to 18% right now at 14.25. Let's see if it comes back down and does that same move with 14. Let's look at some other names that we're involved in right now. QUBT, been holding this one for a hot minute. It's been defending 5. I'm still going to keep my beak wetter there at 5 1/3.
Bro, that's a trade.
That's not bad, huh? It's a consolidation. Like I should be building my position, Joe, like at 495, but I'm not because I suck. But that's we'll look to do a little bit better.
Start doing it. Put
I know. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm gonna start throwing out orders at 95s. I think you're right on that.
I think so.
This one, just 1 second. SOUN is, this one is dropping below my entry. So my entry's at 12. We're printing 12s right now. I still have my DCA, my dollar cost average at 05s because it's just shown its propensity to defend 05s. So I'm going to get in at 05. I'm going to leave that order there. But if it drops below 695, we're going to have to give our DCA 10 pennies worth of room. Ultimately, though, I'd like to make that 3-to-1 by getting it out at the 3rd. So if I'm getting in at 05s and I'm going to give it 10 pennies, then you know, it makes sense from an risk-reward perspective, at least it does for me, if my thesis is that we take out that $1/3. So we'll find out what this one does in a little bit, but for now, we're going to send it to Adair.
Just keep an eye on SQ here. That is Block Inc. Currently up about 4%. Nice volume spikes here over the last 2 candles. We do have Josh Brown of Ritholtz Wealth Management announcing that he's purchased Block Inc. So Josh Brown getting involved in SQ, giving this stock what we sometimes call the Josh Brown pump, guys. Also be aware, make sure to vote for your tickers of choice. Just get in that chat. There is a poll going on, so your options are PDD, WMT, NNE, or SMCI. Vote which one you'd like to see in the rundown. The top 5 tickers out of this poll and the previous poll will be selected. And we do have that 10-year tips auction coming at 1 p.m. So be aware, auction coming up in about 7 minutes, guys. Vote for your tickers of choice in our poll.
What?
Yeah, the Katina man is not pleased with what he heard right now. So we're gonna let him talk about that. But the Katina man has opinions right now, as he typically does, and he's not pleased. So we're going to keep tabs on this one. Joseph, what are you looking at over there?
Yeah, I'm in some JPM, actually, just to go off the beaten path. Yeah. We got out of IBIT here. I mean, NVDA. It wasn't breaking up how I would like it to. So one thing I'm going to do is, as I mentioned before, I'm going to look to some sectors and see what's going on and what's hot. I've been at an NVDA, and now I'm in some JPM. I want to see if JPM can continue because XLF is trading higher and higher on the session, making new highs of days as we speak. So I'm like, what's JPM doing? Potentially in the consolidation phase, looking to break higher, and then sure enough, here it goes. It's not the most liquid stock, and it's something that you don't see trading from a day-to-day basis. But one of the first options I ever bought were 150 JPM calls, and sure enough, I did not sell them. I sold them for pennies on the dollar, unfortunately. But again, keep in mind, sector rotation, XLF, one of the leading sectors, the financial sector, sorry. So I'm going to look to join that as well, too. So that's why I'm in JPM. So we are breaching the high of day right now. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher, see if we can trade up to 240, 450s. If not, then I don't have the best entry on this, guys. You know I like them around VWAP, but I am playing a kind of a breakout style play, so I do need that volume to step in. As you can see, it is starting to on the higher time frame, but I need a drastic amount more, okay? So yeah, as you can see, we're still in at 240, 421s, and it's a little bit spready as well, too, as you guys can see. So not the most liquid stock, but again, and it's not like the best intraday trader without massive catalyst. I'm just kind of doing a sector rotation trade here on this one. So we'll keep that in mind. And everybody in the chat's talking about block and on the floor about SQ. Josh Brown just squeezing things. So, I mean, man, this guy, like Toast and other things, K-Web, whatever this guy seems to buy, it just happens to pump. It's literally what Elon was doing with Twitter not too long ago. Elon would tweet something, and then sure enough, next thing you know, it's going through the moon. Everybody gets all antsy and wants to buy what they have their hands involved. But I hear the guy saying as well, too, it's like it's his personal stuff. And, Joe, do I have volume? Joe, do I have volume for JPM? Yeah, this is like a volume by time profile. The total amount of shares traded on the session is only 2.54 million shares, all right? So it's starting to come back. It's a little bit of a long shot on this one because I am kind of playing the sector plays. But again, if tech starts to pick up, then I'll get back into that. But one thing that I will definitely try to get back into is actually I'm not going to mislead you, is I missed the boat on that one, but IBIT making new highs of days. So therefore, that means Bitcoin is definitely going to be pushing all-time highs not too long from now. So let's see where we're sitting at on Bitcoin, and then we'll send it off to Sharif. Yes, $97,911. So again, only a matter of time.
Love it. I'm back in LUNR here. We're gonna give this one to 14. I think that I traded it wrong first time around, or I traded it poorly or incorrectly. So I'm gonna try to do a little bit better. Now, if we end up giving back some on it, fine. But I need to execute the way that I was supposed to execute, which is a stop below 14. It's at the 10 exponential right now, so we'll keep tabs on that. But Joseph, you know, we were talking a lot about boxing last week. That things kind of faded down a little bit with Mike. Any fights that you're looking at coming up?
Yeah, this weekend we have Peter Yan and Davison Figueiredo, a flyweight fight. That's going to be fireworks. I'm really looking forward to that fight. How about you, man?
And you've got a fight background, correct?
I do.
You do. So you were an amateur boxer for a hot minute?
I wouldn't say a hot minute, but yeah, we fought.
You fought. And fair to say, you packing some power.
We had some punch in the straight right there. Yeah,
only the straight.
No. The left hook was a good one too. So yeah.
Well, I think it's because we're talking about it. It stands to reason we gotta show a little bit of it. Joseph's on the left. Boom.
Yeah. Okay.
My man went lights out. Play that again. Play
it back. Yeah, that's my
Play that again. The dude had to come in.
Yeah.
Where am I? Where am I? The dude is asking.
Yeah.
Show those hands again.
Play it back one more time.
Show those hands again, Ray.
Here, yeah.
So give the context.
So anyways, this guy's name is Joe as well too. Yeah, his name was Joe, and I was already previously fighting. I was doing some sparring rounds with other gyms, and I was tired. So I decided to do some rounds with this guy. Play it back for the folks one more time, please.
Ram.
So I was tired. He said one more round. I didn't really want to do it, and he was going hard. And then he kind of got me mad, and then I had to put him in his place and show him what was going on. Thanks for putting that on there, man. I appreciate it. That was awesome. Thank you.
I told you that I wanted to that day, but
so we put him to sleep. His name was Joe, coincidentally, as well, too. And then we never seen Joe again after that. Yeah.
My man went down. And the thing is, he's wearing headgear. The best part of this, though, is you walking away, Alexi.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? Inside, I was buzzing. It was a good time. But I just was saying, I don't want to fight this guy anymore. He frustrated me. He cheesed me. And we had to teach him a little bit of a lesson on that one. So, man, thanks for putting that on there. He paid the price.
You like how I set that up?
Yeah.
You're looking for any fight?
Yeah, that was I wasn't expecting that. So, that was good times, man. And it was a great time trading at a Hard Knocks in the city, training at a Hard Knocks in the city. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that was a really big. And you know what? That was earlier in my boxing career too. Like when I was training a lot because it was into COVID. So I wasn't even really that good at that point. But I was all right.
You got more deadly?
Yeah, I got better. Yeah, I definitely got more deadly as time got on.
All right,
so,
I'm gonna have to watch what I say around Joe now, bro.
That was a good time. Thanks for showing that.
Of course, bro,
awesome.
man. That impressed the hell out of me. I told you, I gave you my honest reaction when you showed me IRL. That was the look. All right, guys, let's get back to some trading here. LUNR continuing to do that dance with absolutely no pants at 14. I placed my stop. I've placed my beak wetters. Let's see what come what may. We do have Adara at the big desk.
Keep an eye here on Bitcoin. We're doing right now our segment that we do around 1 p.m., our afternoon version of the crypto segment. It's worth noting in a couple seconds, we're going to be getting that 10-year tips auction. The number doesn't always hit right away, but be aware it is coming. We do have right now Bitcoin trying to make new all-time highs once again. This is our previous all-time high here, around 98.3, so just shy of 98,350. Making a nice recovery here, though, for Bitcoin after selling off earlier today. Then we get this bounce here around 10:40 a.m. around that 95.8 area, which is actually where we saw yesterday evening, a little bit of chop and churn here, that 95.8. Now we're bouncing ever since, but it looks like Bitcoin is reticent, as of right now, to make that new all-time high. One catalyst on walk here that has just happened. Apparently, SEC is announcing that Gensler is going to step down on January 20th. And it's funny, these comments come as Ken Griffin has said here that much of Gary Gensler's agenda with the SEC is unlikely to survive. So couple negative comments here in the SEC space you think would be positive for Bitcoin, but we do have BTC pushing a little bit lower here. We were above 98,000 when this began, this segment. Now we're around 97.9. So let's see what happens here. But again, I'm not seeing this confirmed, but SEC is apparently announcing here that Chair Gary Gensler is set to step down due to the fact that Trump has been signaling this pro-crypto agenda. So interesting note here. Let's see how this all unfolds. But BTC looks like a bit of the sell the news reaction right now. I'll keep you guys posted if I hear anything more. Watch out for that tips auction.
Bye, Gary. It's been nice knowing you, brother.
Bro,
things are going to be so much nicer without you around. Wow. Bye. Wow. All right, so Gary Gensler, so long, farewell.
Sharif, what is going on here? Listen, JPM is breaking out. This is what I called for, dude. This is what I told you guys, man. So that's it.
Dude, what a guy, bro. What a guy. Crypto hater.
That's it. JPM.
All right, here we go. Joseph, we did really well on LUNR. Got back in at 20s. Outs all the way through. I think I got 50s at the top there. Now looking for a little bit more. I've got one out left on this. Let's go and hang out at the $0.00 of a dollar. I'm going to hang out at 65s because what's life without whimsy? Let's see if this one continues to run. Good look today for LUNR. What do we got over here? QUBT still hanging out at 5. Nothing doing there. SOUN, we're still break even on this bad boy. I'm still unable to get my dollar cost average at 05s. Hey, Sharif, here's a great idea. Why don't you move up your order, bro, so you can get filled? Hey, it's a novel idea. So we'll keep tabs on that. What are you doing over there, Joseph? I love it. This guy's great, bro. Eddie R. Look, Eddie, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. I'm exaggerating for effect, Eddie. Careful with what you wish. its successor, oh wow, could be worse. No, you're not wrong. Obviously, we don't know who comes in.
I'm assuming he put somebody more friendly to.
Hopefully. James Choi is yelling about mRNA. We will absolutely oblige you, James, and have a look at Moderna. What is she doing up? Oh, Moderna just got a big boy bump. What's going on here? They're presenting at the Jefferies London Healthcare Conference. Here's what I'm seeing, James. Moderna presents at Jefferies London Healthcare Conference. This is a transcript. Is this it? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this, when did this come in? 11:33. When did the breakout start manifesting? 12:30. It could have something to do with what's being presented at the conference. So the conference call participants, Michael Yee, Lavina Tulukdar. I hope I obviously butchered it. Anyway, I'm not sure what's going on with Moderna, guys, but Moderna's up big here. Good move up. Well, it's not up big. I stand corrected. It was 37. It weaseled up into 38.80. So it's not a big move. Anyway, Elon Musk will be the new head of the SEC. I don't know about that. He's busy, bro.
Triple J. Trump is making Joe Exotic head of game and wildlife. That was funny.
That's a joke. That's a great show. I like that.
Yeah, that was fantastic, man.
Oh my goodness.
Chaotic.
I don't know what's going on with Moderna, guys. I'm sure Dara will have her eye on that. Anything she reports will obviously report to you, but I don't really know why it started moving up in the way that it did. But we'll keep tabs on it. I still don't have anything other than that presenting at the Jefferies London Healthcare Conference entry that came in at 11:33. It's a transcript of such. I'm not going to obviously read that on the air. Let's see quickly here if they introduce anything. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do this right now. So let me know if you guys see something, if you guys get a bit of a better look with respect to that, let me know, and then we can report it to everybody. So shout out to James for mentioning that. So mRNA breaking out in case you're interested. QUBT, this one broke 5. I think I'm done with this trade. I'm going to wait until to see if it comes into 485. In fact, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to put a DCA, a dollar cost average order right here, about like a couple of pennies. And then if it breaks down below, oh, wow, it is breaking down as we speak. So I may not put any order. Where am I long? 74s. Let's see if it bounces off this area here. If it reclaims the 85, quick as you like, I'm going to get in. Otherwise, I'm gone. Adara, what do you got for us?
I have here, I don't have anything on Moderna, though. It's worth noting here, I did check on social media. There are a couple people wondering why there is this move. So it seems like there's widespread confusion as to that move on mRNA as of right now. The one thing I'm seeing is apparently there have been some comments from RFK Jr., who we know at his appointment there to the HHS by Donald Trump did initially send the mRNA and a lot of these other health stocks to the downside. Apparently he made some comments. I wasn't able to find anything on that, so I'll keep looking. But as of right now, mRNA seems to be a bit of a mystery. We do have a catalyst, though, and a move up for SUM. This company here is called Summit Materials. It's got about a $9.2 billion market cap, so not a small cap. We have the Wall Street Journal reporting that Quick Rates is in advanced talks to buy Summit Materials with this deal that could be announced as early as next week. So buyout talks here on watch for SUM with about a 3% short float. Make sure you vote for tickers in the chat. The poll is open. There are 4 new tickers to choose from, and you have until, I believe, 1:50 p.m. to vote for those tickers, guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Okay, guys, Qubit is coming down. It's going to, we only have one more out on this bad boy, so it's coming down to my entry. I'm going to flatten out if it hits my 74s, but here's the thing. The volume weighted average price is at 66s or 67s. I can't really quite tell. So I'll flatten out break even on the remaining amount. And then if it touches VWAP, I'm going to get back into Qubit. It's up 30%. Quantum computing, it's been hot lately. And I don't even really know why quantum computing's been hot. Did somebody say something that I'm unaware of that got the ball rolling? Did Elon say something? I mean, I have no idea. So I have no idea. We'll look to find out later. But Qubit, in terms of a trade, came into 75s, bottoming tail candle. I'm going to see if that one wants to bounce off VWAP.
Whoa, sorry, you have to pause for this. James Choi, 50 smackers, 50 bucks. Thank you, Sharif and Adara, for checking mRNA. Somebody must be making some money on that. And I'm not going to mention any names, James Choi.
That's fantastic, bro. All right, we might have to, well, we can't do it now. I was going to say maybe we could change the poll to throw Moderna in there, but I don't think we can change it ex post facto. In any event, thank you very much. Obviously, James goes without saying, 50 smackaroos. That's very kind of you. Very nice of you. Thank you very much for that, James. And I just want you to you guys know that we don't see any of that directly. Everything gets funneled back into the show and reinvested. You guys know we're always building up in this place and adding stuff. So everything really does get thrown back. So we do definitely appreciate that from you guys. That's from the heart. And let me tell you something else here, Ram. We only have 587 votes. I mean, come on. There's some big hitters on this list here. PDD, you got Walmart. Walmart's doing decent here. SMCI, I knew that would take the cake, of course, up 56, or it's leading here with 56% of the votes. Come on, we got 1,500 votes for that first one. Let's throw another 1,500 on this one. We got about 600 now, guys. Get into that chat. Super easy to vote. You got Pinduo getting shellacked on the day, and a lot of headwinds for PDD. Let's call a spade a spade. You got Amazon weaseling into that same area, looking to butt heads with PDD. You got the British government really making it hard for them to continue to export their products into England. Now you've got the states investigating them for unsafe products. So they've got headwinds, no question about it. Throw PDD in there, and I'm sure the big boys will talk about it. Walmart just seems to keep getting better and better and better. Shout out to Sam Walton, man, the originator. You know what this guy did, bro, to make his money and to open Walmart? No. Sold coat hangers outside random stores and reinvested the money. He's an original American capitalist, man. There you go. Sam Walton. And read his story. My old man read his book back in the day, and he would always tell me little tidbits about it. And then obviously SMCI, the monster, having another great day here, Joe. So we'll keep tabs on that. No question.
You know how I feel about Walmart, so.
Of course I do. Of course I do. What are you looking at, Joseph?
Yeah, we're just having a good time in this JPM trade. It's been the best one of the day so far. Guys, I'm stoked about this because I was like, hey, I didn't know if NVIDIA or NVDA was going to recover on the session. So I was like, let me do a little bit of a sector rotation. Let me go and see what's hot. And sure enough, the financials were there. I liked the technicals on XLF. And JPM was pulling right back into VWAP and kind of consolidating. I didn't get the best entry on it, but I'm still happy with the way it's breaking out, especially now that Gensler's gone. See you later. Now we're in this. So this is why we took this trade. The news backed it, so we're really happy about that one. JPM breaking out. We're in from 244.21s. Now about to be in our own dollar club, it seems like, shortly soon. Let's start selling buttons outside stores. Yeah, I mean, hey, man, if people need it and you sell it, then the chances of you being successful are really, really high. So find something that the people need, ADL, my guy, and then sure enough, you can. Oh yeah, well, there you go. There you go, Ram. She said narcotics. You did,
Ram.
Okay.
You did.
All right. But yeah, anyways, guys, IBIT. You know, we're going to be looking at that for the foreseeable future until otherwise. Trading really well. Oh, wow. Okay, that's not what I was looking at there. But yeah, guys, IBIT was just making new highs of days. But I want to point out the volume step in. And that's one thing that I noticed, Sharif, is that when it's starting to it's going to make a big move, you'll see a lot of volume step in to one side. And then the momentum can possibly go to the other side. So I noticed a couple times that this happened is that you'll see a lot of selling pressure come in. And then sure enough, it just grinds higher to that point of an all-time high. I've noticed that about 2 or 3 times on IBIT. So that's one thing I'm going to keep an eye out for. If it does continue to push, I think that there might be somewhat of a momentum play lingering. The volume is starting to step down on IBIT. But again, if it steps in, I think it does make that push for 100K, which can put this IBIT around 56.60 or 57s even. So keep that in mind. I'm really keeping my eye on this thing for that volume to step in. But in the meantime, I'm going to manage my JPM trade, my guy.
Yes, I love the comment coming in from Havana Woody. My grandma worked side by side with Sam Walton opening stores in Oklahoma and Arkansas in the really early days. Thank you for that, man. I mean, obviously it doesn't help our trading, but I love to put, kind of context to the information. Thank you for sharing that, Havana, one of the OGs certainly of the chat there. Let's have a look at some of the positions that I'm in right now because some of them are very consolidative and not really doing a whole lot. So let's talk about the first one here, Ram. Let's talk about SOUN. Very, very sideways since that that 7 break and take, but it's not giving up the ghost at 7. In fact, if I really look at it, we're incrementally, albeit very, very slight, putting in higher lows. And that doesn't bode well for my DCA, which has been hanging out at 5s. 5's been support, despite the fact that 7 is that psychological level of support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up my my beak wetter, or my DCA into that 707 area to account for that, latest pump. So this looks to me like it's second bull flag. Obviously, the first one, we gave back the entire move, so I wouldn't even consider that a bull flag. This looks to me like a bull flag, and how far away or how much higher it is than the volume weighted average price keeps me bullish on this. Would that 7 defend too? So I'm like this one. Who knows? The bottom could drop off. There's no doubt about it. But we'll look to manage risk in a sound way. No pun intended there. So that's what we'll do there. So we're gonna take out the order. Or actually, maybe this one does dip in. Now it's printing 6s. So maybe I do get the better print here. Has it printed this low? Yeah, it has. Okay, so I'm going to take it off. Let's go ahead and add. Oh, there we go. Now it's dipping into 5s. Okay, let's watch here what SOUN does. Just going to get it in here. There we go. So now we're into SOUN, which fundamentally changes my, what's it called? My cost basis. Nothing changes with respect to my stop placement. It will still be below 695 to account for this area chop, despite the fact that 7 and 705 are what's been holding on. I want to keep my eye on that one. Now, there's another one that was really good in the beginning of the day, small cap gapper that is, and it kind of gave up the ghost. And you had a great trade on it if you bought it off VWAP at 450. But look at what it's been doing since it bounced off VWAP. That rounding effect, beautiful. So this one can start squeezing here. SMST, it's only up 10%, but the chart pattern looks really good. So I want to see if I can weasel into this trade on a pullback. Now, the pullback to me is going to have to hold up at the 10 exponential. So what I'll try to do here is try to shadow the 10 for a dip trade. Every successive candle higher than its presses, or higher highs, higher lows. This one looking like it might want to test that high of the day at around 580. Who knows? Maybe we get a 60 break and take, but SMST moving up nicely up here. QUBT, we're still hanging out on this one. Here we go. Let's go back into it because it's at VWAP, so I will be adding here on QUBT. So here, where's my QUBT screen? There it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw an order on that. So we'll add here to the position on QUBT and look to what happened to my other screen there. Okay, there we go. Excuse me for a second. There we go. So we added that QUBT position and on SOUN, but SOUN has broken 705 for the first time in a hot minute. So I am concerned a little bit about the bottom dropping off. We already know the short float on this is big. So there could be, a lot of short sellers really looking at this one, wanting to take it down. So let's be careful with this one. I think, yeah, I'm just going to leave my stop the exact same place, 695. I think that's a sound area on that area. QUBT, I'll have to place my new stop below VWAP. VWAP currently on my chart around 68, so I'll have to put it a couple of shekels below that, Joseph. I'll send it to you while I just throw out some of my new stops.
Yeah, for sure. Cash Money in the chat says those 75 calls on NKE are absolutely printing. Yeah, congratulations. I kind of like this for a potential bottoming play from a technical standpoint as well too, because we can see we have this doji. So I do like that for a potential bounce on NKE. I'm assuming you bought those out the money. So yeah, congratulations to you, especially if you bought them around 73s. I'm not too sure what you paid for them, but again, congratulations on those calls, Cash Money. So I like that play. I'm glad you were printing up multiple storms there. But guys, look at Bitcoin. We're starting to push higher and higher, 81,100 on the session. And yeah, I think it's only a matter of time until we go and push that 100K mark. 6 figures on Bitcoin incoming hot. Sharif, I know you go. Good.
Yeah, man, I want to read what Havana wrote, man. My grandma loved Sam Walton. She was from a family of sharecroppers. If you don't know what that is, you're going to have to Google it. And the way Sam treated employees was a revolution. Unfortunately, not the case now, but she lived off dividend. man, she had shares in Walmart. That's all I can say. That's a play right there, man. Shout out to you and shout out to your grandma, man. I don't know if she's still around, but wow. Fantastic story there. I love to hear stuff like that. Like my old man would tell me these stories because my old man's a retailer, right? So, you know, he would always tell me about like things that he wanted to kind of mimic or steal, for lack of a better term, from Sam Walton. Ideas, you know, the way he dealt with people, just his overall thinking and how he reinvested what we call in economics the surplus product back into his business. So I kind of love that. I love those stories. I love to hear about success stories like that. And thank you for sharing, Havana. I appreciate that. Now, let's talk about SOUN. So I did get stopped out as this one did weasel down below 7. So I had my stop at the wrong area. But here it is, SOUN 690 VWAP. Now it's breaching the 7. It's breaching the area crests that we had in the earlier time of the day. This is what I'm talking about over here on SOUN. So if we defend 7, that'll be interesting. We'll look to get back in if we do defend 7. But now I'm looking at 690 here for a possible entry on, or a re-entry, I should say, excuse me, on SOUN. Separately, QUBT, it's kind of holding up at VWAP. I'm not going to throw out beak wetters on this one yet. So we have a 3-candle hold up at that 75 penny area. I did add at around mid 80s, or sorry, low 80s. So we'll see if we can wet our beak with some profits here. Number 1 at 88s, and then we'll layer a little bit into the 90s there. So that's what we'll throw up with respect to that. There we go. I have no idea what this thing is doing. QUBT, okay, that's fine. There we go. Now the orders are good. So we'll see if this one wants to hold up. SMST, we were kind of singing the praise of this one, though, with this curling effect. And now it's coming down a little bit. So I said I'd get into this one at the 10 exponential. That's still at 508s, 510s. So it's got a little bit to go till I'd weasel my way into SMST if I do get in at all. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at, someone's asking me to look at JPM for them, so I'm going to pull that up. And they said they want to get in JPM as well, too. I don't know if right now is the time because it is slightly extended. So just keep that in mind, guys. From a daily standpoint, it is up there. It's trading around 244 bucks right now, and it's gapped up. So just keep in mind, this isn't a price where you would want to get in necessarily. I think that it will eventually somewhat breach this gap to the downside, and then you'll be able to get some positions on that. I don't know from a capital standpoint where you stand, but this is a stock where you just continuously sell puts until you get the price that you want. And if you don't get the price that you want, you're just collecting passive income anyways. So that's something that I would look to do if you have the cash or the capital to do. That's something I particularly would do. And again, I wouldn't chase it all the way up here, but from an intraday standpoint, I think the move is done. And yeah, you got to wait from a daily standpoint to get in onto this as well too. And yeah, B-balling, you're talking about Walmart, talking about the PE. I mean, I don't really know what to say because like there's no really deep pullbacks on this thing. Like historically, what are you looking for? Like, because I want to get into this stock, but I don't think I'm going to get any crazy pullback. You don't see those 5%, 10% retracements in this stock. So you almost have to chase it. Unlike JPM, what I just used as an example, you can find those pullbacks within that stock. But Walmart, it just continues to move northeast. Like I don't know. I don't want to chase it, but I just don't think like I'm gonna get that 10% pullback that I'd be looking for. But we'll talk some more about this stuff when we get back from Madeira.
Just wanted to do a follow-up here on mRNA because I found one article here that might explain that pop-up in mRNA, PFE, so Moderna, Pfizer, and some of these other biotech and vaccine-related stocks. We know here last week it was announced that RFK Jr., who's a noted vaccine skeptic, is going to be taking over that HHS position in the Donald Trump administration. Now we have an article from QZ citing a top FDA vaccine official here. His name is Peter Marks, and he is the head of vaccine safety for the FDA. Basically, Peter Marks apparently saying that the fact that RFK Jr. is nominated here and is a vaccine skeptic actually could be a good opportunity for the science community to prove the efficacy of vaccines. So Peter Marks saying that this thing that is actually could be used as a negative for vaccines is actually a positive for the space. though he also noted that there could be natural consequences if scientists fail to show the efficacy of vaccines. So basically, to just kind of do the TLDR version of this, we have a vaccine specialist for the FDA saying that there's the opportunity to prove how great vaccines are now that we have a vaccine skeptic, I guess, coming into the HHS, though it's also a chance that these efforts fail and people are not a fan of vaccines. So this could actually be a catalyst that goes both ways. Right now, though, mRNA straight upside 4%, guys.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you very much for that, Adero. Yeah, we were definitely waiting on possible news there as mRNA made a big boy move. Simultaneously, I got to tell you guys, Pfizer also made a move kind of at the same time. It's not with the same vigor, obviously, and I don't think it really has the same potential for continuation. Rammer, if we can kind of show mRNA over here, let me just weasel on down on my watch list so that it could go live. Where is my mRNA? There we go. Biotech. So we're hanging out at 38, around 38.5. Let's look at Pfizer, PFE. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of bull flagging, but you don't get that kind of same volatility on PFE that you will on mRNA, certainly, and you don't have the same kind of short float either. What is the short float right now in Moderna? It's good to know. 10%. Okay, so not bad. Obviously not nearly where it was in the past, but 10% is a decent amount there. So now, I'm in SMST because it did dip into the 10 exponential moving average. I will be interested in adding at 5, but anything below 495 and I'm out. Now, here's the look. We added on sound at 7 because it held 7. So if it curls back up, I've layered my orders for some beak wetters there to account for areas where I perceive to be resistance. So I'd like to take them out a little bit before they get there. So we'll see if we get the print. Initially, I'm waiting at 7s, and then I'm waiting at 15s, and then the like. Okay, QUBT got into this one as well. We just wet our beak there at 88s, and I'm layering my orders, again, same way that I'm doing here on SOUN, where I perceive to be local areas of resistance, trying to front run them a little bit to see if I can weasel out before they do hit resistance. So that's my look right now. SMST for my side chart does not look good, so I did get stopped out of that. That sucks. That was a mistake there, I think. Let's see what this one does. Does it hold 5? There is support here at 5. There's a whole long consolidation here. So maybe I got in too quickly there at 20. I was looking for higher highs and higher lows. This one was doing the rounded bottom. So a mistake there on SMST, but there is that $5 level of interest to me. So I'm going to try to weasel back in here. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, we got a couple. The super chats are just absolutely on fire today. So thank you guys for those. Can we do some TA on TGT, please? Yeah, absolutely. We'll do TGT for you quick before we send it off to Adera. So let's take a look at what TGT's been up to on the session. Ouch. Yeah, I don't really know what you want me to look at here other than the fact that the stock is not looking too pretty. Let's see if we can zoom out here. Yeah, it's just consolidating. I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually took another leg down. If you want to break it up to the higher time frames, it's a stock that we talked about it the other day that you don't want to necessarily be a part of. Like, look at this. Like, I don't know. Do you want to be a part of this? If you're in it already and you're all the way down here, this is absolutely max pain, so expect that. Cut your losses before you look to take another leg down or it breaks this low. But we'll talk some more about TGT, and we'll get to the other super chat as well, too, right after we get back from Adera.
We're going to take a look here at RIVN. This one pushing into today's highs. We do have Reuters reporting here. There's been a letter sent or written here by a group that has represented major automakers urging President-elect Donald Trump to basically preserve the EV tax credit. We know that there have been some reports here that Donald Trump's administration would look to cut that $7,500 EV tax credit. We know Elon Musk of TSLA is also apparently a proponent of getting rid of this credit. But this group basically urging Trump to keep this tax credit, and take steps to boost self-driving vehicles. So we have some comments here from a group representing major automakers in support of this credit. Bit of a pop up here for RIVN, guys.
Oh, yeah, just for you, Adera. Worksport, another $2 super chat, Minnie Mouse, WKSP, Worksport. Ooh, wow. Oh, okay, yeah, not really in my wheelhouse here. I think Sharif would have some more better TA on this one because he is that small cap penny stock guy. So, yeah, I mean, you're sitting at the bottoms here. you can see that you have a definitive level that can possibly hold. So just keep that in mind. That's fantastic. If it goes to break that level, then you can see some more potential downside. But as for Worksport, for potential bounce, you're seeing the volume starting to pick up. Is it stopping or reversing volume? I'm not too sure because it just seems to be in a primary trend, and that's to the downside. So if it looks to break 35 cents, then I wouldn't be surprised if there's some more downside here on WKSP. And that's it. What do you got going on there, my guy?
Looks like I'm going to get stopped out of SMST again. This one is giving up 5, and it's giving up fast. So we've already placed our stop out. So if we get the stop, we get the stop. But did not anticipate that. It was a nice hold up at VWAP, rounding through the the whole dollar at $5. And this one certainly looked like it had support at $5, but doesn't look like it does now. So yeah, you can be wrong on the day. No worries. We'll see if we can do a little bit better on this one. We're 5 pennies out of the money, and it's not like anything to write home about right now, and we didn't get stopped out either because it didn't cross 95, so we'll pack our patience to see if this one wants to curl up. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot of hope for this one. SOUN still defending 7, looking for the beak wetter here. We're not going to give this much room at all because I don't want to get back profits on this one. So if this one does break the area trough over here, which is at 696, that's it. We're gone there. QUBT, nice hold up. So we already got a beak wetter at 88s. Next beak wetter, 95s. We're showing 93s right now on the ask. It's got a cross. And then I'm going to look to take out more in front of 5 because 5, psychological resistance. There was obviously support there earlier. So it stands to reason that support flips to resistance once you breach it. So we'll keep tabs on that one and look for a little bit of a move up. Sebastian, SMST is a short at MSTR? Is MSTR short on steroids? What do you mean? How you comparing the two? SMST, let's have a look. Maybe there's some overlap between the two. SMST. What does this do? What does this company do?
Leverage?
It defines daily 2 times. Oh,
yeah,
it is. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We definitely need to be alive to that. MSTR. So let's have a look at what MSTR is doing.
Yeah,
let's bring in the chart
today on this.
But what is it doing right now?
Oh, yeah.
That's what's important. Yeah, it's curling up. Okay, so but SMST is not. So funny. Why are these two charts not overlapping? Okay. So let's see over here. Let's load this up. MSTR. Yeah, I mean we're definitely curling up. Look at SMST. This is MSTR right here on your screen. This is SMST. So we're going lower highs on this one. We're going, is it inverse? This is probably inverse, bro. Bitcoin, Engaged Development Network through, no, MSTR, sorry, SMST, let me look. Is it the daily inverse? Oh, 2 times short. Oh, I got to be careful here.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've already placed my stop. So if it gets triggered, it gets triggered. But yeah, thank you for letting me know that. That's actually good information. QUBT, we take another print there. So it's on its way to 5. Let's set up another beak wetter. I'm going to put it at 99s on this one. Let's see what we get. SOUN still hanging out above 7. And this one, we just got stopped out of SMST. So that will be the last time I trade that, Joe. So
yeah, for sure. And Sharif, we're having such a solid day here. I kind of forgot about the latter half of the lesson. So we'll just dive right into that quickly, and we'll finish this off here quick for you guys, because we are on the expected move part here. So guys, the expected move refers to the amount. I love that. I need this picture here. Yeah, I need that picture. It's solid. Glutes are probably.
Glutes are. My man is pumped about the glutes.
All right.
My head looks huge though, bro. Why does it?
But you're jacked though. Look at the pecs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Not bad.
Respectful. All right, guys. Yeah. The expected move refers to the amount a stock is anticipated to move up or down from its current price. This concept is derived from the implied volatility of the options and provides a forecast of potential price movement within a specific time frame. All right. So if the stock weekly expected move is 10%, then the stock's price is expected to be plus or minus 10% within the coming week. All right. So just keep that in mind. So implied volatility is key as well. This is a measure of the market's expectation of how much the stock's price will fluctuate. Higher implied volatility can indicate a greater expected move. All right, so as you can see, before earnings and PanW, I put PanW just up there just for you, my guy, because I know you have there. So yeah, this is what the options market was pricing in. It fluctuates from time to time, but before the report, around a 7.8% expected move on NVDA and 7.4 for PanW. So you can expect that to move, and that's from a monthly standpoint. All right, guys, so just keep that in mind. from that. So open interest in options trading refers to the total number of outstanding contracts. It's different from volume. Open interest and volume are two totally different things, right? Open interest can fluctuate, volume can only go up, all right? So that have not been settled, it provides an outlook of the number of active positions in a particular contract rather than just total volume traded. So open interest, guys, keep in mind you're going to see higher open interest in those whole and half dollars as we'll go through and as an example. So it's an indicator of market activity. Open interest is often used to gauge the level of activity and liquidity in the options market. Higher open interest indicates more active trading and greater liquidity. So the bid-ask spread is going to compress when you go to those higher open interest strikes, all right? So keep that in mind. So from a money flow standpoint, increasing open interest suggests that new money is flowing into the markets, while decreasing open interest indicates that money is flowing out, all right? So keep that in mind there, guys. So this is just an example of NVDA's calls. So as you can see from these whole dollars, these whole and half dollars is where you're going to see these large intakes of open interest. So at 165, we had 70K. At 160, 90K, and then all the way up at 180, we had 24K of shares being outstanding contracts there, okay, guys? And 150, 190K. So keep out for high levels of open interest in those whole and half dollars. All right, guys, so keep that in mind. And then here's just an example from the put side, as you can see here as well, too. 130 winning up there, and 130, 135 as well, too, and 140. But always keep in mind that open interest and volume are different. Volume can't decrease, but open interest can fluctuate from time to time, depending on how many contracts are open. Those are not yet settled contracts. So just keep that in mind. Volume will always increase. Open interest can fluctuate from time to time. All right, so just putting everything together, how you can put straddles and strangles, expected move, and open interest all together. So locate stocks with high-level catalysts in the upcoming days. Depict which option strategy you want to implement, straddle or strangle. Check the expected move the option market is pricing in, and then look for high levels of open interest. All right, guys, so hopefully you learned a little bit about straddles, strangles, expected moves, and open interest, because that was a fantastic one putting it together for you guys.
I'm happy you sent me that lesson, because I'm going to have to go over it, bro.
For sure.
Because that's one of the strategies there, man.
Yeah.
All right. Yo, Reina, hope you're doing well. Do you guys think Intel will come back? Absolutely. Intel, I'm not saying absolutely about Intel. I'm saying absolutely. Ram, who was telling me, we got it in 1 minute. Intel, look, bro, you know, the environment's been set up for them. If they're going to do well, it's going to take a couple of years. Obviously, they got to build out these fabs. You can't make chips without having the buildings ready and the people trained and the machines on go. So you're going to have to wait till the fabs are built for us to know, because you can't pre-order something that doesn't exist. So we can't have sales. There's not going to be any sales before the fabs are built. And then on top of that, once the fabs are built and the products are coming out, we're going to have to wait to see how well they do. So we're going to have, you know, it's going to be a new product. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Intel, I think there's a lot of support for Intel because there's a desire to make sure that the chip supply is safe and not, you know, 90 miles off China's coast. So I think that there's obviously that tailwind, but, you know, the money hasn't flown in yet, nor have the products and nor have the buildings been made. So it's an untested story. I like the story. I love the story, but yeah, it's just hard to know exactly what happens. And there's other variables as well. Like you got TSMC building fabs in Arizona and taking U.S. government money to build the fab. So it's not like just because Intel is American doesn't mean that non-American companies aren't getting American taxpayer dollars. And that's the thing. So it's a tough story, bro. It's a tough story, and it's hard to know. Let that, yeah. You can think. What do you think about Intel, bro?
Yeah, hey, I don't need to give my 2 cents about Intel, because I'm going to look at it and just call it a garbage company, and it should be bought, so.
I mean, like, who knows, Joseph, what happens? That's the thing, right?
I mean, it's a competitive industry, right? I mean, like the I think more people like, do people, gaming PCs, no one really uses the Intel anymore. It's more about Ryzen, and everybody uses Ryzen and stuff like that. So again, once you drop the ball and you've fallen behind a little bit, then it's hard. It's absolutely hard to catch up, especially in such a competitive industry.
It's tough, man. It's tough. And like, I don't wish bad on him, obviously.
No, of course.
Man, when back in the day, the Katina man's $100 in the money, by the way, guys, on both those trades. But we're going to have to pay some bills right now.
E-Signal.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, we got it,
Okay,
baby. We got it. All right. E-Signal. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading. Know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Better backtesting and scanning. Predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data, up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Boom, 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 boom.
I want to talk to this individual here in the chat that goes by the name Check It Out. Listen here, check it out.
Check it.
You might want to have a look at the gaming revenue for NVIDIA versus the AI revenue. The fact that Intel does gaming means diddly. All right, bro? $3 billion, the best GPU maker for gaming, brought in on revenue for that. That's their gaming revenue. $30 billion is what they brought in for AI. So don't tell me gaming. I ain't interested in gaming. Joker. Anyway.
Poke the bear.
Yeah. Jokers in the chat. Anyway, keeping an eye here on QUBT. Wet my beak there at 95s, now setting up for a $5 break and take. We'll see if we can weasel our way above that area again. SOUN, we did wet our beak nicely there at, where did we get? 7s. Now I'm waiting at 12s, layering my orders to the top side on SOUN, keeping an eye on it because it's, you know, it's off VWAP, but it's definitely putting in lower lows and lower highs. So what I'm seeing over here is this kind of downward channel that we've got after this double top that we put in. So this concerns me a little bit here on SOUN, despite the fact that it didn't even make it down into that volume weighted average price, and it's defending 7. So my concern is this one gives up the ghost. Now, NNE is really doing well. So this broke off the top at 29.50. We know that that was kind of like the area of resistance earlier. It takes that area about 25 pennies. Now it's using 29.50 as support, and it's well above the 10 exponential. So NNE's best days are not behind it. It's continuing to weasel up into that $30 area. We'll have to keep tabs on NNE to see if there's a trade to be had here. QUBT, though, I don't know about this one. I moved up my stop from below VWAP. I had it at 66s. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the area trough right here. So if it breaches this like 70, 72 penny area, that's it. That's going to be the end of the trade because it's putting in consecutively lower lows and lower highs after making that 531 top. So that's not my move right now. If Qubit wants to give up the ghost, I don't want to go down with it. So that's the look. Let's look at some big tech though, because I haven't spoken at all about the Mag 7. And quite frankly, Apple, interesting day for Apple, man. Apple is positive on the day. Is there how many names are positive here? So NVIDIA marginally positive. It's 0.1, 0.12. Tesla up 0.3, Apple up a quarter, Netflix is knocked.
Wow.
It breached 900. Do we see that?
Yeah, I was mentioning.
Yeah, I know you mentioned. I didn't know it was actually above 900. Looks like there was some resistance though at 900, but it did double bottom off VWAP actually too. So not a bad look there for Netflix. Yeah, not a whole lot today in Mag 7 world for me. Tesla is a support resistance trade. Over and over again, was using VWAP as resistance earlier. Now look at this consolidation period. Every single dip into VWAP got bought up, and that's for a while. 1205 to the current candle right now at 1240. So yeah, I mean there's trades to be had, but they're range trades, I guess, on Tesla. Nothing really that I want to weasel into, Joseph. Any ideas on your end?
Yeah, I'm in NVDA here at the break of VWAP. The volume started to step in, so I really like this trade. Happy about that one so far. But first and foremost, DJ Deckard Kane, thank you very much. Need I say any more? Much appreciated for those kind words of yours. Means a lot. So thank you so much, DJ. But as of right now, DJ. What's up, man? NVDA, let's see if we can continue. I said, is 150 in the picture now? Maybe. There's not too much time left, only about 2 hours and 20 minutes. But again, if volume really steps in, if a buy program really kicks in, then I think that we can go and test those pre-market highs sitting exactly around 150 as well. So let's see if we can continue to grind. It's going to need the broader market to participate as well too. So if those mega cap tech, everybody catches a bid, then I think that we can continue to push higher. And then just look at that level too. Like, look at the imbalance on the ask there, guys. That's something really bullish. That's a really bullish indicator, so keep that in mind. With potential price targets are sitting around 146.50 right now. So look for that to be taken out, bam, taken out right there. So we have a really bullish level too, and the tape is extremely strong as well too with those orders flushing. So keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, it's a really good trade, and I do think that this thing can continue to move higher. But is it going to go to the higher days? I don't know. 153 might be a little bit of a stretch. 150 might be a little bit of a stretch. But let's see if we can push some lower numbers before we push those out. So 148 and 149 can be potential targets before we go for those next levels. But again, we are a little bit constrained by time. So keep that in mind. Don't look for those extremely big moves unless we get a lot of volume stepping in. But bullish on the ask is a really good indicator so far.
Great question from Vasil about Enphase. ENPH goes, hey guys, any advice on Enphase? Not moving much upside, down. Not moving much upside, down lately. I have some calls. All right, let's have a look. So look, first of all, foremost, let's talk about solar. With the new administration coming in, I personally don't know what's in Donald Trump's head or any of his administration, but you know he hasn't spoken favorably about solar or wind in the past. Now the other side of that coin is Elon is very much invested in solar. We know Tesla big on solar panels, big on solar battery storage. So could he be in Donald Trump's ear maybe to kind of change things? My personal opinion was it's a bit of a headwind for solar in general. And having a look here at the chart, this is the daily on Enphase. So let's start with the weekly, and then let's see kind of what the technical analysis says here. So we'll throw in the ticker for Enphase, and then we're going to jump into the weekly super quick. All right, so where are the technical support areas here on the weekly? Okay, so we do have some support over here. Is it $50? No, this is $60. So you have, you got to go all the way back to January and July of 2020 to find support. Well, resistance, but it should flip to support at this exact level that we're at right now. So that's number one. Number two, let's this just ain't for me, bro. I mean, there's no trend that looks positive here, right? Like you have multiple weeks red.
Trenda.
Yeah, Trenda, the trading turtle. No, I personally don't like it, to be quite honest with you, and I think that the macroeconomic climate is not conducive for this to run up. I know you have calls, so it's not like I say wait for this or wait for that, but personally, I'd be waiting for a trend break here. Show me, a consistent higher high, higher low on the weekly, on the daily. You're not getting that. In fact, you had a very consolidative year more. Basically, since January of this year, the top's been $135. That was tested multiple times. The low side, it was kind of 100, but we gave up the ghost at 100. Like if I can kind of draw the areas of support and resistance over here, 140 to the top side, like I was saying, and then essentially 100. And we were locked in that range with, the last little part here with lower highs, not able to make it back to 140, but we've broken down below that. And on top of that, we took out this area trough from back in November. Yeah, November of 2023. So this is a year ago. I'd stay away from it. I understand you've got calls, but I need to see something different in order to weasel up or to get in and kind of be bullish on this name. And I don't like the political environment. It's just not good for it at the moment. So I just got a couple of positions on right now. We're in the money on Sound, in the money on Qubit. Looking at taking out some beak wetters up here. None are forthcoming, sadly, as it does, find some resistance here. I'm talking about SOUN, QUBT. We don't have much left on the show, about 15 minutes or so. Let's see how many votes we have. We have about 946. I think we can get to 1,000.
15? No, 1,000. We're not gonna. We gotta set the bar high.
We gotta set the bar high. It's just we had only 15 minutes,
yeah,
so I didn't know.
That's right. No, I have faith in the chat. I have faith in you guys.
All right.
Just vote. 1,500.
Maybe we'll have 1,000 by the time Derek comes back.
Take a look here at that US dollar one last time here. On the daily chart, we actually made a bit of an improvement. We were basically flat but slightly positive on the day. Last time I looked at the DXY about 3 hours ago. Now we're pushing higher, actually above this previous resistance, at least at a closing basis, around that 106.9, just shy of 107 area on Thursday, November 14th. Right now we're at 106.98. It looks like we actually poked above that 107 earlier today. So let's see if this DXY can continue to push a little bit higher. So many Fed comments. This comment section should be called Fed Talks instead of Money Talks at this rate. We had Fed's Goolsby making a variety of comments saying that the neutral rate is a long way below rates are now, and that it'll actually make sense to slow down the pace of interest rate cuts as we get closer to the neutral rate. He also said, quote, "It feels like we're headed to 2% inflation." Some of his comments, though, on the labor market actually directly contrasted comments we got from Fed's Bowman. So Fed's Goolsby said here that inflation's on its way to 2% and the labor market is close to stable full employment. Then we have Fed's Bowman saying here, as of yesterday, apparently there's going to be a greater risk to the price stability mandate and deterioration in labor conditions is possible. So some contrasting comments there from some of our Fed speakers. We also had Fed Schmid chiming in here as well, saying that they do not believe current rates are overly restrictive. So we're going to have to see what we get. Lots of different opinions here in this FOMC as we await that December meeting, the last meeting of the year. We got a 50 basis point cut in September or 25 basis point cut in November. What awaits us in December? We'll have to find out. But lots of Feds with lots of opinions, guys.
P living up to the dual mandate. So, congratulations. I thought he was going to go a little bit slower. I thought he was going to do a pause. I thought he was going to cut every other meeting, but apparently not. He did a couple cuts in a row, but that's what I was thinking he was going to do, cut, pause, right? But sped it up a little bit, cut more than anticipated, and then that's it.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because, you know, every time they cut, the dollar drops a little bit, right? So we saw that firsthand on this side of the border. Our dollar is, you guys know
exactly, and that's
right
what we were talking about that earlier. We both kind of agreed that maybe we shouldn't over here on this side of the border.
No.
So.
But when you hear Donald Trump talk, he does want a weaker dollar because he wants exports to increase. But he
wants to tariff everybody.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but I want to build on a point. No, you're bringing up a really good point, though. I want to build. I want to see what Drops Trade said. He's like, the only thing Trump is going to do is put tariffs on solar and wind not built in the USA. But that's already happening, brother. Biden is already thrown 100% tariff on Chinese-made EVs, meaning they've been manufactured, assembled in China, and I think 25 or 50% already on solar panels. Hence, to build on your second point, which is really astute here, Drops Trades, that's why I position myself with a domestic solar company if I want to invest in that. Case in point, my friend, for solar, and having a look at the chart on First Solar, it's not the best, but it's certainly a lot better than Solar Edge or Enphase. This is the chart on First Solar. Quite frankly, if you take it from May 22 onwards, we're putting in higher lows. Sure, we're well off that 300 bump and drop that we're at. We're below 200 as well. But yeah, your point is well taken in the sense that, you know, American-made solar panels and whatever else stands to do better. However, if that sector in general isn't really being... Randy, look, it's not a bad-looking chart, wouldn't you say, Randy? I mean, higher lows there, right? He agrees. It's definitely off that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very volatile.
Randy, would you own that one, Randy? Yes or no?
Would you own it, Randy?
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
He's not interested.
No, he's not interested.
He is not interested.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so the point is, I mean, if the sector itself is not being championed by the administration, you don't have regulations that are really boosting it, American-made or Chinese-made or not, I mean, I don't know if that moves the needle. But yeah, your point is really well taken. Drops Trades, I think that's quite an astute point there about American-made products.
No, Super Chat, I was going to say, point out, Minnie Mouse has been just lighting up the Super Chats. You put 2 of them in there, so yeah, we can go over what you put in there. $9.99, $10, 10 smackers on WS. Yes, I still have it up here. We can pull it up for you again one more time just because of the Super Chat. So it looks like you're having some fun on this one. Congratulations to you from a daily standpoint. a little bit of a tough look, that's for sure. Work sport. I think this is American, and we don't have any of those here. But again, hopefully, I'm glad that you're making some money on work sport, because for the long term, it doesn't look like very many people are. So unless you're short, and that's the case. So yeah, good luck there on work sport. I'm glad that you're printing up some money on that one, and congratulations once again. And thank you very much, Minnie Mouse, for the multiple super chats on the session.
Yes, sir. And I was reading some of the comments there. I'm loving some of these comments. Your boy, Greg, Solar Edge only makes inverters and supporting hardware. Good to know. Didn't know that. And then you had some other, let me see over here. There was a good one. Dynamite Poop. Dynamite Poop. Danomite Poop. Sharif, and faces domestic production. Didn't know that either. I know that they make that specific, I think it's an inverter or a specific chip that takes the solar power from the panel into the battery, some sort of process that I don't typically understand. Obviously, I didn't know that was a US made, but thank you for letting me know that. Good look. And obviously, the chat chiming in, fact checking us. I love it in real time, and we always bounce ideas off each other. But my point is, I still don't think that there is a very good tailwind for solar just because the administration is not really championing it. But Adara's got something for us at the big desk.
Even more intraday news today, if you can believe it. We have GOOGL already down about 5.5%. We just got a bit of a volume increase there to the downside, and this move down here from 166.60 to 165.60. So basically moved $1 in that one candle. Basically, Bloomberg reporting that the Justice Department is looking to unwind Google's deal with Anthropic. So Bloomberg reporting the DOJ, in addition to what they said earlier today with regards to wanting Google to sell Chrome and release its search data, it's reported they also want Google to end its Anthropic deal. So more demands here on GOOGL reportedly coming from that Justice Department. Guys, I'll let you see more as I find it out.
Great look there, Dara. Thank you for that. Yeah, Joseph and I were talking off camera. Yeah, it's a bit of a tougher look there for Google, but like you and I said, who knows? I think they come out of this a little bit better. It's the most aggressive, though, the Justice Department has been since Microsoft.
Yeah, so there you go.
The most aggressive.
You would have to be, right? Like who you're going up against, you would definitely have to be a little bit more on the aggressor.
Sure.
Right? You definitely want to be
and I mean, Clinton threw in an AG that he, I think, specifically tasked. Janet Reno was back in the day. She was the one taking on Microsoft. And she didn't let up, man. No. She went on for years. She was not backing down. So, yeah, we'll see. So
only
many unanswered questions.
Only time will tell there.
Guys, breakout here on CRNC. This one is the biggest percentage winner, I believe, on the day. It's ahead of WORX, but it was kind of, it wasn't doing much. And now it really took 6 out aggressively there, and I stand corrected, man. It was doing a lot. I just didn't have eyes on it. CRNC, this is a missed trade here by me. It's really going right now. 6 break and take. Let's find out what the short float is on this CRNC. 16.31% with a float of 40 million shares. Possibly something off 6 on a dip trade, maybe front run 6 at 605, something like that. Well, let's load up CRNC. NNE as well is going to break the high of the day. It's at the highs as we speak. So CRNC, I'm going to hang out here. Well, how much time is left? There's 5 minutes left on the show. No. I don't want to get involved in this with only 5 minutes left. But if I was going to trade this, I'd be looking for a dip trade off 6. You'd have to give it room because it's volatile. It might dip and break through 6. I'd give it to like 588s, just to kind of account for this area crest south of 90. Here we go, zigging and zagging right now. Let's see if it actually ends up holding 6 here. So here into 607. So that's how I would trade this. I would set up a dip trade at 6. I'd give it to around right here, 588s or whatever, with the idea being that this takes 630, the high of the day. What's wrong, Joseph?
Oh, bro. I just looked, and I'm like, man, what the heck? Let me pull it up here. Gap fill on SPY.
Yeah?
Baby, yeah, it's not big, but again.
So what do we call that kind of gap?
It's a gap down, right? Yeah, sure. Come and get, right? Super quick, right? So you can get in around 590s, and then you can get out around 592.
Look how that one
yeah. The downside gaps are a lot harder to fill. Yeah. So I like to play topside, but I just looked at it there, and Qs are doing that as well too. So I wish I had something out to take advantage of that one there. But yeah, Continue, my friend.
Yes, no worries. I'm going to wet my beak here on SOU on some more profits. So I added at 7 on this bad boy. So it did dip into 7. It's been defend on 7 today on SOUN. So we'll wet our beak. We still have these orders layered there to fill. They've gone unfilled for the majority of the day, but that's fine because we were adding in the right areas. So SOUN continues to do the dance with absolutely no pants. I did also add at this area at 4 3/4 on QUBT because it's an area defend. So what I'm looking for now is a pop back up above 90s. Last time we wet our beak at 95s and that one in front of 5s went unfilled. But we do have a possible double bottom with my stop just south of that 70 penny area to account for the volume weighted average price. Guys, QUBT hasn't been below the volume weighted average price since 1035. So, you know, the fact that is in and of itself bullish because it didn't even work its way down there. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Also, I got to let you know that ION Q, we were trading this one earlier. This is weaseling back into the high of the day at 32.56. And since we took it out at the highs there initially, it's been very respectful of that 10 exponential. I mean, like, sure, you got a wick or two below it, but if you put your stop south of the 20 exponential, you've been doing real well here. So an ascending, or sorry, not ascending wedge, well, maybe at 32.5 here with the flat top, but definitely higher lows. Boom, there you go. New high a day here on IonQ. And this one's squeezing just like its partner CRNC. Here we go, IonQ taking out the highs on the way to 33. It's up 13 1/3, 13.5. Good look today for these small cap gappers. It's been a good look lately for these small cap gappers as we got a lot going on. And look at this, CRNC defending for now, underlying for now, that $6 area. So this could be a good entry here at $6 with a, you know, a decently sized stop. I'm thinking 12 to 15 pennies for CRNC to account for any volatility. So we'll keep tabs on QUBT and on SOUN. SOUN is working into 12s. Can we get a fill here? All right, Joseph, we're at 12s on the ask, but we got to cross, baby. We got to get above that on the bid for me to get filled. There it is. Nice. So SOUN to the top side here as we defend 7 up 10.5%. This company, bigger short float and NVIDIA linked. Soundhound is the name of the company. Joseph, a minute left on the show.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
have a look over here to see how the voting went today. Okay, over 1,000 votes. That's what I like to see, baby. We got 1,500 on the first one. We got 1,043. Hopefully some more votes come in the last minute over here. In case you're wondering, mission past 11. PDD, Walmart, NNE, and SMCI. SMCI, the king of this poll, Joseph, with Walmart in second. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, just a quick, Ryan Pedrick, you did a mini lesson earlier this week on gap fill with Amazon, took that lesson onto the Qs today and had my biggest day of the month. Congratulations. Final thoughts. Well, Mike, drop it right there. Attaboy, Ryan. Way to put in some solid trades there.
All right, guys. It's been real, but it is now 2 o'clock. Yeah, I know. Believe it or not, Ram. We will see you same bad time, same bad channel. It is now, though, time for the Big Kahunas. Take it over, boys.
Appreciated, much appreciated.
And Randy.
Oh, yeah, Randy.
By the way.
Randy's up in the building. What's going on, Randy? Just chilling out. He was talking about how he missed NVIDIA, and I was like, come on.
Yeah, NVIDIA, and nice play on XOM this morning. Neil was just showing the chart.